Well, we're back. That is the Mighty Dash, and we're at Logan Airport, and I'm here with the great, the eminent, the illustrious Helipilot7, Chris, and
The overhyped.
temporarily overhyped, and we're going to do a little bit of flying today. I think we're going to go from here down to New York, and then we'll see what else is up. I'm going to be flying first officer on this leg because Chris has got marginally more experience, more recent experience in this thing, and I don't know for the life of me why I ever gave it up. All right, so Chris, let's see. Right now, I'm on the init page. Do you want me to let me accept that and see if it syncs?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right, I see the accept cleared.
Okay, good.
I think we're okay.
Okay, I'm going to get on the fuel page.
Yeah. So as the first officer, my personal multiplayer flow, if you will, is your responsibility is everything north of the glare shield. So basically just the upper panel up to and including the start.
Okay.
And then I will take care of the lower panel. So setting up the radios, doing the FMC. If we were on Pilot Edge or something, I'd give you the radios, but I'll set up the FMC quickly.
Okay, cool. I will watch as you do that, and I'll do my upper panel flows.
Right. Sounds good, because we've already briefed the routes. Well, I haven't briefed the route, but we know what the route looks like, so I'll plug that in. And I've got the up-to-date fuel numbers.
Yeah, and just for the record, folks, we're going to go out of here, I think on 15 right. We're going to take the SOX 5 departure. Let me just get some charts up, too. Wow, I didn't expect this to work.
I know, it's a bit of a miracle.
This is... when you think you're just going to, play the sad trombone and say, all right, we'll try again tomorrow. Anyway, I've got Navigraph charts here somewhere. All right, so let's see. I've already got Logan chart up, and you can see by the little triangle here we are. We're at the E terminal. And it looks like we're operating off of 15 right today, which is why we're at the E terminal. Because... would you really want to taxi around in this? That's a problem even for people who do this for a living. This is a nasty airport. If you can see here,
seems awful.
I mean, there's a land and hold short here. There's a land and hold short here, and on 27 here, which is 7,000 feet long, it's about 5,500 feet of landing space, and they land 747s here because it's just the most convenient place to put inbound flow. And it's over water the whole time. So yeah, this is a nightmare. But we've avoided that nightmare by cheating. So anyway, so here's the SOX 5, and I think we're going to do what buzzard out of right here, out of the SOX 5, and then on to what, the Parch 3.
We're going to take the Roebuck.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Well, that's what the internet was telling me.
So no, that makes perfect sense. That makes perfect sense. Roebuck and Parch from the east, and Lendy from the west. Every single flight I've flown in from the West Coast has been the Lendy Arrival, which you fly over Manhattan at about 7,000 or 8,000 feet. And then come back around. So, all right, this is cool.
No, you're right. So I've just looked at the Roebuck 2, and that is a turbojet only.
Oh, so we have to fly the Parch 3.
We may have to fly the Parch 3, yeah.
Okay.
We take a quick look at the plate. Oh, wow.
Well, then we can go buzzard.
Also turbojet only.
Oh, really?
So which one would you like to do?
Well, the Parch 3 is where most traffic goes, and we could just fly fast.
I'm all entirely in favor of this. So let me set that up for us.
All right. Probably using the Sandy Point transition. Probably buzzard to Sandy Point will work well.
I love it. Yeah.
That's Sierra Echo Yankee.
You got it. I will set it up.
All right. In the meantime, let me just figure out our flows here. Let me just get up our first blitz through our cockpit safety checks. All right. One thing I do just because I'm superstitious is I check to make sure that our gear pins are in the basket. And no, I mean, that's the most embarrassing thing you can do in this
It's
plane.
not even superstitious. Yeah, that is old and wise, as we've spoken to recently.
So, well, the only thing worse you can do is sadly what those poor folks did up in on the way into Buffalo, those Colgan people did, which was forget that they had to use the thrust levers. What a horrible thing. Okay. All right, let's see. Got our electrical page up. All right, we've got the right kind of volts. All our doors are closed, but this isn't like the flight factor where you have to have the doors open to load passengers, so doesn't really...
I see passenger door open and baggage door open.
Oh, really?
On my end. Yeah.
Oh,
Do you want me to close them?
No, let me try doing this first. Let me just try switching the display here and see if it wakes up, as it were. Go to Nav, Sys, doors. No, still shows, for me, it still shows all doors closed. Do you want to open and close one or something, or just open one?
Happy to. Yeah,
Okay.
see what happens.
Just
services.
Just to F everyone's eye, this shared cockpit experience here is old and tried and true, but it's not perfect.
I'm presently brought to you by 2 different versions of Prepared, unfortunately.
Well, I will say this, that as soon as you open the door, I got a caution or a warning. I'm just going to kill that. All right, now it says, okay, passenger door is open now. All right, I'm just going to go back to my flows here.
So do you see, just to go back here, on the doors page, you should now see everything. Oh, we should see 4 passenger open and the remainder closed.
That is correct.
Okay, so I will close that 4 passenger again.
Okay, and I've got doors pages up on your side and mine.
I see it, yeah.
Okay, let me
Perfect. So now everything's closed on my side.
Okay, sounds good. All right, so let's see. Walk around, we've walked around. Battery switch is on. External power as required, it is on. All right, I've checked the breakers, and the breakers work in this thing.
I do.
Just come down here, check the oxygen. Okay, pressure is good. Gear pins, we checked. All breakers are in. Hey, how do you test the takeoff warning test horn?
I have no idea.
All right, well, we'll just say it works.
I generally just assume it works.
Because I've never known it not to work. So
I'm a consummate professional.
See, that is flight safety for you. Oh, by the way, I don't know about your SOP. Do you like taking off with the inertial separator, the engine intake doors open or closed?
Closed.
Okay. I know different airlines do it different ways, and I'm not sure why.
I can't think of a reason why you would want to have it open unless you were performance limited.
Or unless maybe you'd want it open if you were taking off on a rough or a gravel field. Keep debris out of the engine.
Yes, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Shame on you, a Canadian, and you don't know gravel field.
I was going to say, yeah, my goodness.
All right, let's see. All right, we're going to assume we're going to start soon, so the anti-collision light can come on. Airfield elevation. I set it 500 above field level just so that we're definitely depressurized. Not that it matters, it's just pretend.
That's a good idea.
But and nobody's ever suffocated with the cabin altitude of 500 feet.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
All right, let's see.
We're all about passenger comfort here.
Yeah. Packs off, bleeds at min. Okay. I mean, bleeds are off and packs should be on auto. Yep. Okay. Bing. Wonder if you're going to get seatbelt signs. Let's see. Did you hear that?
I heard a bang.
Hot diggity. Okay, good. We're in business here. Where are my temp controls? Where are my temp controls? You know, it's the little things. It's not even a very complicated airplane, but you forget so much. Like whether the bus tie should be on or off when you start and things like that. It should be on, by the way. And just all these little things are really remarkable.
Well, it's like this strange marriage, right, between the modern and the 40-year-old turboprops, twin turboprop.
Yeah, and they have certain modern touches like an FMS, but they have the weirdest, most Stone Age FMS.
Correct. Yeah.
So,
a hydraulic system that I'm convinced was designed by the Russians.
Yes, but it does have a hydraulic system.
That's fair. Yeah.
So, all right, are you working off? Are you ready for a before start? Oh, you know what?
I'll give you a quick rundown.
Well, you want to do a briefing here?
Sure.
Okay, so let me have it here. I've got the flight plan up.
Okay, so do I, and I've got the SOX departure up.
Okay, so I see Boston, SOX departure, Buzzard, Sandy Point, the Parch. Okay, we've got Calverton. And all right, looks good. One thing I'm never clear on is, when you've got like two Parches here,
okay.
you just leave them in, right?
I do, yeah. It's very specifically cautioned against removing them.
Yeah. I know you're not supposed to edit anything within an approach or within a procedure, because it invalidates the whole thing. The only thing that I see that sticks out that has been helpful to me is that since we don't have ATC, to plug in a hard altitude of 12,000 at Calverton and 9,000 at Roberson, it just helps with our descent profile if we want to use VNAV.
Strongly agree. Let me plug that in on the left side, and you can just copy it over.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, Calverton 12,000. Can't put speed in, obviously.
That was the first thing I was going to think of, except this isn't that kind of plane.
Yeah, that's right. Given the option, I would. And then what was the other one? It was Rover at 9.
Yeah.
Nope. Hang on. That's not what I want to do.
Is it still there?
It is. I just got on a weird page there for a second. Okay, so I've got Rover at 9. Or Rober, sorry, at 9.
What's interesting is that I can see keystroke for keystroke your entries, which is great. All right, let me just cross-fill mine. And
ready to cross-fill.
And just for our viewers, cross-fill in this airplane always pulls from one side to the one you're cross-filling. So the last thing you want to do is accidentally cross-fill so that it pulls the blank one into the one that you just created. So let's see, data. Oh, you know what? While I'm at it, let me make sure I'm not about to do that. Data cross-fill, okay, and here we go. And I think it works at about the same speed as the real thing does. What people don't realize is that even something like a Garmin G1000, except for the newest version, are slow. There's a lag in everything. If you punch into a flight computer on a 737, there's a lag to it. Right, I'll just cross-fill the fuel. All right, and while I'm at it, I've got my eye on the fuel page here. Oh, have you noticed this in your version, that when you pop up gauges the first time until you've loaded them once, They take a while to pop up.
I don't get that at all. No, not in 4 point, whatever I'm on.
Well, I guess I'm on 5 point suck. All
It's
right.
work in progress.
Yeah, all right. I'm just looking at our fuel quantity, and that looks sane and reasonable. And I'm gonna assume we're gonna land with flaps 15 on a long runway. And doors are closed. And I'm gonna do a before start checklist here. This is your bailiwick here. Trims.
Set times 3.
Okay, door and fueling lights.
Out.
Passenger signs.
That's a good question. On.
Okay. We've received a cabin report. We know the flight deck door is locked. And I'm in a Manhattan apartment, so my door is locked. Anti-collision lights.
Red.
All right, and battery, bus, and volts.
Ooh, it's a good question. I'll bring up the electrical page.
Yeah, I checked it a second ago.
Here we go. So I'm showing 26.7 volts.
Okay, before start checklist complete.
Okay. So I think, I'm sure your viewers will love this, but my belief here is we start at the gate, I reverse us out, and then we head north to intercept Bravo.
Yeah, no, that works for me. So shall I start too?
Clear to start 2.
Okay, sounds good. Oh, you know what? I got my condition levers fucked. Hang on. That's a technical term, by the way.
They're technically fucked.
All right. Let's see. 2 turning, as they say. And it's a FADEC engine, so we don't have to worry too much about blowing stuff up, but we do have to watch to make sure we don't have a hung start. And doesn't look like we do. Oil pressure is rising, temperature rising.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of our airline, we would like to welcome you on board of our Dash 8 Q400. The flight time today will be approximately 2 hours.
Reversing out of the gate. That's a baller move.
If you want to use any electronic
You know, the airline that we work for, Marshall, and I know we're not allowed to tell people which airline we work for, but they
Encourage
really
it.
reward ingenuity.
Initiative. Yes.
They love initiative.
Yes.
And if it saves the passengers time, it's great for the airline.
Oh, the hell with the propellers. and hell with the innocent bystanders too. Okay, we got a good start on 2. Shall I turn number 1?
Clear left.
Okay, awesome. All right, and the awesomeness is building now for engine number 1. Do you handle the small buttons, or shall I?
attention to the international safety
So you're going to take, once we start moving, you're in charge of absolutely everything that's not the yoke, throttle, or pedal.
Awesome. Okay, cool.
They are marked with the exit sign. Illuminated escape path markings on the floor.
All right, now do the rest of my flows here.
I see 2 good engines.
Yes, indeed.
Fit the 2 ends together. Tighten it by pulling the loose end.
All right, packs are on auto.
Lift the upper part of
I'm going to disconnect the APU or the ground power unit.
Okay.
and is sealed in a plastic bag. When instructed to do so, take a hold of the bag and take the life vest out. Pull the life vest over your head. Fasten the life vest by connecting the hooks to the ring. Pull the struts until the life vest is properly adjusted.
Okay, we're on battery.
Okay, shall I spool up the props?
Please do. Let's get that gen working.
Located on both sides for blow.
All right, and let me pop outside for some beautiful sound. It is a nice noise.
Oh, I love this.
I mean, I have to
Love
say, I'm a sucker. I really am a sucker for turboprops. All right, bus tie can come off. Well, we're not technically moving, but I'm right there. Let's do all our little housekeeping stuff there. We're going to do a flap 5 takeoff?
Please, yeah.
Okay. Do you have takeoff speeds?
I do. So it's 130, 132, 132, V climb 142, and flaps retract at 54.
Okay. Good. You can almost fly this thing by feel anyway. It's a dirty little secret for people who are flying anything. I won't say real and fake, but at least for fake. And almost everybody I know who flies one plane all the time knows power settings and knows pitch, so that they know that on approach they should be at such and such power setting. They should be so many degrees nose up or nose down. And you just know that. And sometimes you even almost know it by where your hands are on the throttle too. So
It's flying by feel.
You should not get too obsessive. As a matter of fact, you'd be more able to speak to this than I would, but a lot of Air Force planes are mainly flown by angle of attack indicator.
Yeah, it's my understanding. Yeah.
Because ultimately, at the end of the day, with everything else that's going on, that's the only thing that really fully tells the total truth.
Right.
About
it is the sum of all the inputs translates to the angle of attack. Yeah.
Right. All right. So let me just see. I've got our bleeds on and min. Passenger signs are where they should be. Oh, you know what? This is kind of a no man's land here, but I always forget the anti-skid, and that is on. Okay, let's see. Do you want to do a push and then the after start, or do you want to? Well, you know what? Yeah, we do have to back away first.
All right, let us get us clear.
Because you've got some control checks. Now, that initial stutter step you saw going forward there, that is airline policy. We do that.
Here it is, yeah.
We do that to gently nudge any ground crew out of the way.
And it's a really important part of our flow.
No, it's simple consideration is what it is. I mean, let's just face it. We're all about the other guy.
Oh no. Everything's fine here. Everything's fine. That's phase 2 of the initial push.
Exactly. That's just to show, in case they're wondering whether we really mean it.
Mm-hmm. Are you coming back? And then we can get close enough to tell them, you can wave at them and say, no, I'm not coming back.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's why we do that.
All right, well.
I know you have eagle eye viewers.
Not that it matters or anything, but we are clear to the right.
It's all about saving the customer time.
Yes. All right. Little control system check.
Okay. So because I'm steering with what is in theory the yoke, you'll be able to see aft and forward.
Yeah, I see
aft, forward, and then pedals left and right. I'm seeing inputs
see them.
on.
All right, let's do our backup hydraulics there and see if it pressurizes. It does. All right, do a little control. Okay, it bumps up and down, and that's done. Okay. You've made up a squawk code?
Yeah, I just left it wherever it was.
Okay, sounds good. I think they want us to squawk Charlie while we're wandering around the airport here. And right now I've got the rudder trim as neutral. Do you like it neutral?
A couple of notches of right trim's perfect. Maybe 2 or 3.
Okay, there we go. It's the old 1 lump or 2.
Yeah.
All right, we're away from the gate. We can turn the weather radar on, and we are TCASing. Tell you, it really is just getting to know where everything is still, just to get it back into the right side of the brain.
Mm-hmm.
You want to be on pick needles, do you not, sir?
I do, yeah.
Okay, nav source, FMS1, and I'm going to be on FMS1 also. Okay, you're seeing a course at 330?
So I've set the course. Sorry, I've set the heading to 150, which is runway heading. I'm seeing a
Okay.
course. Yeah, I'm seeing a course of 150 as well. And what I've done is set takeoff go around mode, and then I've overridden the go around pitch to give me a
Right.
IAS of 142.
All right. Sounds good. Um, I'm going to sync up a heading bug. What's interesting is that I see on mine and on yours a course still of a desired track of still of 330. Are you sure that you didn't put in runway 33 left as the runway?
No, it's 15, right?
Oh, you're right. I see. It says heading 150. That's interesting. Oh, you know what? The resolution, the resolution of these screens, the way I've got it set up, is that I can't tell the head or the tail.
It is hard to see even on mine.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Yes. Okay. Yes, that's verified. Okay, good. All right. So little after start. So APU disconnected. Main bus tie is off. Condition levers are set and checked. Auto feather selected in white. I'm presuming that this is my own. This is a non-challenge and response, but who knows? Oh, you know what? It's not. All right. Well, let's see. We've got hydraulics. So
Checked.
nose wheel steering.
On.
Okay. PFD, MFD, and ED, are they set as you like them?
Checked. Yeah, I see the electrical page up on your side.
Okay, checked. I don't think I can get into toga mode on my side without screwing up your side. Oh, you know what?
That's fine.
You know what? I think it. Well, no, it doesn't sync. What I see for you is your flight director is not in the toga position, but that's probably just because they don't sync. Let me try one thing here. And let me try setting on my own side, and I hope this doesn't screw you up. But here we go. Let's see. Toga, wings level, and what did you want? IAS
142.
142. All right. Takes a minute to scroll that wheel up.
Yeah, 142 alt cell, please.
Okay, you want us to stop at 5,000?
Yeah, it's the first stop, yeah.
Okay. Okay, IAS 142 alt cell heading hold. Well, that's interesting.
Yeah. Give me heading 150, please.
Okay. You know, the thing is that they seem to be fighting because now it's no longer in the toga mode, but that's okay.
Yeah, that's the point. I mean, I use the toga mode to get
to get the 9
ability to put that
degrees
stuff in. Yeah,
exactly. Okay, we're set on both sides. Bleeds are on and min. That's my responsibility. De-ice pressure has been checked. Ice protection is set. Transponder TCAS are set. Do you want windshield heat on normal or warm up?
I've got a warm up now, but once we get on the runway, you can turn windshield heat, pitot-static heat on.
Okay, all right, sounds good. After start complete, and we're doing an end top takeoff.
Oh yeah.
Okay. The one thing I always forget, not that it really matters, because this airplane's yaw damper only exists to provide 2 extra lights on the glare shield.
It's true.
As far as I can tell, it doesn't work. All right. Taxi checklist is complete too.
Perfect. Brakes checked.
Yep.
Takeoff warning tested. Takeoff power, end top. Yeah. Yaw dampers on.
Okay, all set to line up, and because this is Logan Airport, we're going to assume that we don't have to wait for anybody.
Love it.
Are you seeing snow on the ground, by the way?
Just a little bit, yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah, likewise. All right, nobody crossing, nobody on the departure end. And looking through your head there, clear to the left.
Okay.
Okay, on come the lights, because as we all know, that's the most important flight simulator thing.
That's true.
Is
Yeah. Altimeter's 2992 at 18,000 feet. And lights on.
Oh, speaking of which, it looks like you've got altimeter set because it squares with our airfield elevation.
Perfect. Yeah, it should be 9.7, I think, here.
Yep, we got 9.7 on both sides. Thank you very much. And let's see, bleeds on min. Pitot heats can come on. Windshield can come to normal. I'm presuming that probably is for bird strike, a little bird strike insurance, so that the windows are not
Right.
so inclined to shatter. Or at least so I've been told by somebody at some point. All right. Anti-collision white, landing lights on, pitot static, isolation valve on, bleeds as required. We've already verified all our AFCS modes, and just to reiterate, we're at heading select IAS 142, altitude and outcell 5,000, and your HSI, and we're going off of Pink Needles number 1. All right, you ready?
Ready on the left.
Okay, ready on the right.
Here we go. Wow, I have oversped that pretty significantly. I've never seen that.
Might be a sync function.
Okay.
Okay.
We're still rolling. Airplane's doing fine.
Yep. 80 knots. Checked. That's interesting. We are over... okay, our props are sinking now. Okay, V1. Rotate.
Thank you.
Okay. Do you do your reduction at 1,000 feet AGL, and do you do it, or you want me to?
Yeah, let's get through 1,000 feet, and once we hit 1,000, you go climb power bleeds to medium.
Right. Okay. There we go. Max climb. Do some bleeds, and then we'll take care of the rest. Bleeds to normal. Okay, let me know when you want flaps up.
Flaps up.
Okay, speed checks, flaps up.
And nav mode, and then bug IAS 180.
Okay. We're navin'.
See it.
And we'll bug up to 180. Or thereabouts. There we go. Okay, looking good. Our little peanuts can come off here. And we'll do the after takeoff checklist after we get cleaned up and probably leveled off at 5,000 to go.
1,000 to go.
Okay, outcell confirmed. Always check outcell, folks. It's the world's dumbest words to live by if you're not really doing this for a living, but nonetheless. Okay, we're right over Foxborough right now, which is the home of the New England Cheaters, I believe is the name of the football team. I work with a guy who's a Bostonian. He's insufferable. I thought I heard a stick shaker, but that's not it. Okay, altitude acquired. Have we been cleared any higher?
Yeah, let's assume we're going up to 210.
It's interesting. That's what I did for the test flight. Okay, 210 outcell. Now, it popped into pitch mode, which is interesting. I don't know why.
Yeah, I think it's because I blew through 180 pretty significantly.
Oh, I see. Okay. You want me to IAS you again and we'll sort of cruise climb?
Yeah, we can IAS 210.
Okay. All right. Let me know when you're ready for the after takeoff checklist.
I'm ready.
Okay. Landing gear.
Up,
Flaps.
up,
Bleeds.
on a medium,
Okay. And climb power.
set.
All right. After takeoff checklist complete.
Sounds good. Autopilot on, please.
Will do. Okay, there you go. Autopilot on, and let's
See it.
make sure everything works. I've managed to get my yoke working on it too. It just doesn't move around like it should. But it does all the other autopilot things.
Well, let me tell you, a lot easier to fly the Airbus with an Xbox controller than it is the Dash, the mighty Dash.
That is true.
No surprises there. But. All right. Well, we're in a right turn southbound towards Jester on the SOX 5 departure.
Confirmed. And we're going up to 210. And oh my God, you know what time it is?
What time is it, Marshall?
It's flight simmer light time.
Oh, yeah. Seats for departure, everybody.
Yeah, well, there you go. That's perfect. What it really is, in real life, folks, seriously, is, yeah, sure, it's lights, but really what you want to do is make sure you're not going to die. So what you normally do at 10,000 feet is you check this, which is the pressurization panel, because that's the only thing that can kill you. And as you climb up, most airplanes do this all automatically, and most planes also have horns that sound if the cabin pressure starts dropping below a certain threshold. But sometimes pilots, like what was it, Helios, the Greek 737?
Right.
Yeah, they ignored the horn.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yeah. Seemingly. I mean, there's no way to tell for sure, but yeah, they seemingly ignored the horn and passed out, and they all died.
Jeez.
But
It's
not
a great story about a WestJet flight out of Calgary, I think going to Vancouver, who had to divert to Kelowna because they departed with the APU and APU bleed on. And then, 5 or 6 minutes later, as they're coming through 10 or 12,000 feet, the FO realizes he left the APU on, doesn't tell the pilot flying, turns the APU off, and then the cabin depressurizes because the APU bleed's not pressurizing the cabin anymore.
Oh, so
it was probably working pretty hard to do in the first place.
So he had no APU bleed, and let's see, we're turning towards SOX, which is the end of our SID. So they had no APU bleed, and they had no
They didn't have the bleeds
They
on
didn't have
for the
the
engine, yeah.
Oh, ooh, that's horrible.
Yeah, so the bags all popped out in the back, and that was, if you fly on any Canadian airline now, there's a part of the pre-departure brief that says, hey, if the mast drops, the bag won't inflate, but that's okay. And that was from that incident with WestJet where, the masks all dropped, even though it wasn't an emergency necessarily. All the bags dropped, and all the passengers started freaking out because there was no air or it didn't appear to be any air in the bag.
Oh, God. Wonderful. That's horrible. The things pilots do.
I mean, you can imagine you'd be embarrassed if you're the FO and you're like, oh man, I left the APU running for the last 15 minutes. I should probably turn that thing off, and turn it off and realize that you hadn't switched the bleeds as well.
Well, in the annals of Canadian aviation foul-ups, or American ones for that matter, it's not the worst.
No, it's pretty low threat. I mean, as soon as you get those bleeds back on, that thing would pressurize pretty quick.
It's not like Harrison Ford, who actually asked the question, what was that airplane doing on my runway? And the answer came back, taxiing like it was supposed to on a taxiway. But you have to picture that in Harrison Ford's voice and his sort of ultra cool,
Yeah.
somewhat annoyed demeanor, which of course he had no right to be considering.
No, love it. Well, all things considered, Marshall, with no rehearsal and very little prep time, that departure went
Yeah.
pretty well.
Yeah,
And you and I have not flown together in half a decade.
we have basically jinxed our arrival.
No. What's the worst that could happen? Be fine.
That's true. Besides, the embarrassment will be funny. In Canada, do you set standard once you're cleared to a level, or do you set standard when you pass?
It's passing
18?
11 or passing 18.
Yeah, just like us.
So actually going to run a little experiment here. Would you mind kindly turning the autopilot off?
Yeah, sure. Well, first, what do you have in mind?
I just need to see if my trim commands are working.
Oh, I see. Okay. Okay, autopilot off.
Thank you. A little stick shake there.
You seem trimmed.
All right. Yeah, so I can trim. It just happens very slowly. Autopilot's back on, which is fine. It just means we won't kick the autopilot off until we're at a much lower speed.
Yeah, let me just slow. Let's just steepen the climb just a little bit.
Got it. Set standard.
Right. Let me see if mine transfers over to yours. Probably doesn't. Okay, standard left. No, both sides, unless you just did it.
I did it on my end.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. We're
If
good.
I roll mine up, I'm at 2996 now. Do you see it on your side?
No, so I guess they're not synced. Okay.
Back to 92.
Okay, and wow, we've got quite the crosswind. We've got
70 knots. Jeez.
Yeah,
Near enough. Yeah.
Yeah. And dear viewers, the way you can tell is if you look at our heading is that away, and our track is that away. So if we go outside here and come behind the airplane and you look down at a reference on the ground, if there is a ground and prepared, I'm not sure. Well, we're turning towards, I think, what are we turning towards? Buzzard here? Let's find out.
Should be Buzzard and then Sandy Point, I believe.
Yep, okay, we're turning towards Buzzard. Let's see. Let me do this for you. I'll give you Sandy Point and Calverton. So let's see. Sandy Point is 117.7, if I remember right. That's how often I've done this. Okay,
Yep,
1,000.
17.8. 1,000 to go.
1,000 to go. And the other one is 117.2, I think, going purely from memory.
17.2, you are correct for Calverton.
Yeah.
All right, you can set cruise power whenever you're ready.
Okay. You got it. Cruise power set and verified. That sweet, sweet sound of the Mighty Dash's props in the, they call it the quiet mode, but we call it the quietest it's likely to be mode.
It's made in Toronto. I mean, noise is relative.
It is a magnificent plane. It's the best thing ever made in Toronto.
But every time I talk to, friends who have moved up through the airlines and are now flying sort of narrow body jets, I say, man, I'd love, maybe as my retirement job, we'll just go fly for the regionals. Because I love this flight simulator Q400, and I think that would be a blast to go just bang around Western Canada, one of those things for a living. And so someone referred to it recently as the mighty cucumber. And was unapologetic about how much he hated that airplane.
Well, I think its nastiness is somewhat more related, I would suspect, to pilot ergonomics and things like that. I mean, it does make things kind of baroque in how to do things.
It is not a pilot's airplane, yeah.
But if it flies anything like the simulated one flies, I think it flies nicely.
Mm-hmm.
You can get into small places. It's reasonably sporty.
I mean, you've probably watched as many of these Q400 videos as I have, but the thing appears to rattle.
Yes, I've got the different sound sets in it, and it has that rattle when
I don't
you.
know if you've ever owned a car that has a rattle, but it drives me. Even the slightest like rattle or creak between panels drives me bonkers.
Well, we do have something in common with the dash. The last car I had that had a really bad dashboard rattle was made in Brampton, Ontario. So maybe it's just something about it. Let me see. You know, I've got one question here. I don't know why this isn't working. I'm on the ArcDo, and either I've totally forgotten or I'm doing something wrong. I'm trying to set the new standby frequency for VOR1. And all I can do, oh, now it works. That's weird. The last time I tried to do it, it just toggled between the active and the standby, which is obviously what I didn't want to do.
Right.
Okay, so now you've got Sandy Point backed up with Calverton. If you want, I can put Calverton on its own as the active in Nav2 if you want to futz around with it that way.
Yeah, I can put Nav2 up. Let me, if you don't mind, let's put Calverton up Nav2.
Okay, stand by. Let me stick that in Nav2. All right, should be there for you now. Just so our viewers know, we can now, using this selector down here, set 2 auxiliary needles on our PFD. You can see the lollipop-looking one is, Nav1. And if Chris wanted to, he can put VOR2 in here, which I think he has. And that should show up.
It's not picking it up.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It's not a long distance. It's not a high altitude or whatever they call it, VOR.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So as you can see from the VOR DME right here, we're 31 miles away from Sandy Point, which is right there. And Calverton is about another 110 miles or so. So we wouldn't necessarily be picking it up. Also, you notice here that a little, what would be a ball in a turn and bank indicator, this little slab here, is centered, which means that chances are Chris has been monkeying around with the rudder trim to make it that way, because in the dash, whenever you change any power setting, you have to dick around with the trim a little bit. So
it's all about passenger comfort.
Exactly.
That's what it's all about.
Well,
okay, I'm going to leave the flight deck for a minute, and you're in charge. Don't break anything.
All right, my airplane.
I don't think we're going to overspeed. That's really my only concern.
All
We
right.
seem steady here at about 254.
If the winds change, I'll give you a shout.
Yeah, I won't be gone long enough for it to be an issue. We'll see you in a sec.
Enjoy. So that is Block Island. That is Sandy Point right there. And we are in the resplendent Air Canada Jazz livery. And what I'm doing at this point as the pilot monitoring and, for the moment, pilot flying, is making sure we don't overspeed, which is a risk in this airplane, and monitoring the engine performance, keeping an eye on our progress, talking to ATC, and there you see the green needle lit up, and now you can look down at the VOR number 2, and that is Calverton, and that is 74
It's a great little trip.
It is indeed. All right. I think we should start planning our descent. By the way, we just picked up Calverton here.
I see it. 73 DME.
Yep. All right. So now let's see. Let's try a VNav descent here. Ordinarily, our viewers should know that right about now we would be we'd be getting handed over to New York approach, and we'd be getting descended. All right, so let's go into. You've got the thing up. You want to pop into the VNav page there, Chris?
Sure.
Okay. So the way this works is you select the first restriction on your list, if I remember it right.
Correct.
Which is 12,000 at Calverton.
You are correct. Yeah, or
Okay,
expect
so
12 at Calverton.
So you hit 4, hit enter, then it gives you a proposed descent rate, and probably we want to descend maybe slightly quicker, maybe 2,000 feet per minute. By the way, the rule of thumb is, you see, we have to come down to 12,000, so we have to drop 9,000 feet, multiply that by 3, and we should be able to do that at a standard rate of descent in 18 miles. Is that right? No, that's not right. Yeah, 9,000.
Let me do some quick math here. You make me do math in public, Marshall.
Yeah, well, I did it first.
That's fair. So we're going 323 knots, which is a little over 6 miles a minute. So we're down at 3,000 feet a minute, 2,000 feet a minute. What was that? Oh man, I'm gonna screw this math up. 6 miles a minute, it's 2,000 feet. So yeah, if we want to go down.
Well, it would be 300 feet per mile at a standard rate of descent, and we're going down a little steeper than that.
No, so you're right. 18 miles. It should take us exactly 18 miles.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going 6 miles a minute. So every time we descend, if we're descending 2,000 feet a minute, we're going 6 miles.
Yeah, a little more than 6 miles because it's 3.5 degrees instead of 3. And to get that 3 degree, what you do is you take your ground speed and you multiply it by 5. Or multiply it by 5.
We're gonna edit all this out and just dub it again, right?
Yeah, exactly. Cue the muffled voice. Well, here our ground speed, roughly speaking, is 300 knots.
So yeah, 5 miles a minute, 5.5.
Right. So you multiply by 5, and to get a 3 degree glide, it's about 1,500 feet per minute, give or take.
I have a feeling I did that math wrong, but we're not going to ask any questions.
No, we're going to pretend it's right. Mm-hmm. That's the way you do it.
Those of you at home, just hit the space bar. They'll pause your video.
Yeah.
And then redo the math and then call us. It's now 8:30 on Sunday night.
Human factors thing. When in
call
doubt,
us on Sunday night.
When in doubt, pretend there's nothing wrong.
Let us know if the computer's right.
No, it seems like a reasonable place for the top of descent. And having flown this route a bunch of times, it'll work. And actually, we can do a somewhat less steep descent and still do it. I mean, the one thing we can't do is what they do in Europe a lot, which is a continuous descent arrival, where you coordinate with ATC and they just smoothly let you basically descend at almost idle power from the very top of wherever you are to the platform altitude for your approach, as if by magic. But that's becoming more and more common because it saves fuel.
That's the dream, right? Is to get the power back in when the gears come down.
Exactly.
Yeah. I heard this term the other day that I thought you might like. It's called dangle the Dunlops. I thought of you immediately.
Good Lord.
So once you dangle the Dunlops,
it's just
you bring the power back in.
Just sick enough. All right. So what are we going to do? Assume, let's say, an ILS arrival into 31 right, which is the main arrival runway.
That's what I have in the box right now.
Okay. Let me get that up on a plate. Yeah, because we're going to have to start briefing this soon.
Yeah, it's coming up fast.
Okay, let's see. Boy, I do not even remember how to do Navigraph little chart thing. This is, and you probably use ForeFlight, right?
I just have Sky Vector up. Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Aha, charts. Okay, nice little icon. And we are not doing an RNAV approach. I'm not going to do it. I hate it. I like those curving ones, but I hate getting to some point, realizing it's not doing what you want it to do, disconnecting, and then trying to, do it all raw data and figuring out where you are. You might like that.
Your nav approach in a dash is real untidy.
Yeah.
I say that because I'm not very good at it. It may actually be quite easy, and I'm just screwing it up.
It's apparently easy enough in real life. Okay, so 3-1 right, we're going to do the ILS or localizer runway 3-1 right, and okay. All right, so briefing it. Now, I've got a Jepson thing. You've probably got an FAA one, but it is 314 final approach course. Initial fix is catted, and our decision altitude is 212.
Okay, let me get that. The MDA here, 212. Call it 220. Actually, it's a decision height, right? Because it's a precision approach.
It can be on a Cat 1 you do it altitude. I believe on a Cat 2 you do it height. So whichever you prefer, we're equipped to do either.
Yeah, I think. Oh man, I think it changes by airplane. And again,
yeah,
please don't quote me on this. But
no, we'd have to ask Ty.
That's right. Yeah, I think the precision approaches you're allowed to. So if you're on a non-precision approach,
you're allowed to use height.
You can never go below the missed approach altitude or whatever that decision altitude is, minimum, and whatever the MDA is.
Right.
So you have to start the go around before you hit that height. But if you're on a precision approach and you hit, say, 200 feet, you can go to at 199. The expectation is the power is going forward and that you start the climb out. So even if you dip down to say 170 feet or 150 feet, as long as that happens, you're good to go. Whereas if you're on a non-precision approach, the second you hit 199 feet, you've busted it.
Right. We're crossing Parch. I'm going to set VNAV in the autopilot, and that should do nothing until we get to our descent point.
Right. I'm gonna roll us down to 12 grand.
Okay.
12,000 alt cell.
Okay, confirmed. And VNAV, you have VNAV armed on your side?
I see it.
Okay, good. All right, so what we've just done is, having botched the math and plugged it in here, we noticed that we got the VNAV deviation indicator right here as we cross Parch and as our TOD approaches. And so what we had to do was we had to put it in a mode that when it gets to that point, it'll start to go down. Now, once it starts to go down, we're also going to, Chris is going to have to manage power because this is not auto thrust. So there's no such thing as a VNAV climb into descent mode. This is only VNAV guidance.
Yeah, it just draws an imaginary line for you.
Exactly. And it actually does a reasonably good job of it, but that's all it does.
And that's where some of the mystery, we'll call it, comes from that Honeywell box, where if I've asked it to give me us a VNAV descent down to Calverston. Is that the name of the VOR? Calverston?
Calverton, yeah.
Calverton, yeah. So I've asked for it to give me a VNAV descent to Calverton at 12,000 feet. The part I haven't asked it to do is everything after that, but it should automatically do that, but because I don't understand it, I have to keep an eye out for it.
Yeah, and what you do have to do is you have to keep spooling down your altitude window so that it keeps going. Well, you know
Right.
what? It might keep going, and it just might shout at you that your altitude alerter is set wrong. I'm not sure.
It'll still tone at taco at 1,000 to go.
Yeah.
If I leave it at 12 here, because we're not on an approach, it will stop us at 12.
Okay, and as we're doing that, I'm setting up our localizer in Nav 2 so I can see it. And that is just confirming that's 111.5.
Correct, 111.5.
Okay, and I can't see it where we are, but okay, you're rolling back the power because we must have just hit the top of descent.
We have.
And I'm going to switch you over to... Oh, that's interesting. Did you... Oh, you just put in 111.5 too.
It's in the standby yet.
Okay. Do you want do you want Calverton back?
No.
Okay. All right, we're good there. Let's brief the rest of this approach. All right. And now, Chris is keeping us right on the hairy edge of the barber pole, which is probably not a bad thing to do, considering that the New York ATC likes to keep things moving until very late in the game. Now, whether they like us crawling up somebody else's tail is another thing, but I'm also going to tell people to put out their cigarettes. We encourage smoking on these flights, by the way.
Wholeheartedly encouraged.
And because it's a from Canada cross-border flight, often we encourage smuggling.
Maple syrup and the such.
And cigarettes in the other direction from our fine reservations just north of New York. All right, so anyway, 314 coming in, 115. Those are both set. You know what I'll do while we're at it? Let's get some ATIS, some weather going.
That's the only thing I've got for weather is 3015 and the altimeter set left.
Okay, I'll set that right. I'm just going to pop into active sky and cheat. All right, let's see. Cloudy, wind 320 at 13, so that's nice and sporty, but not a low ceiling. I was hoping for fog.
Yeah, like a proper approach.
Hell yeah. All right. So I'm going to set 3015. I mean, technically, we'd be getting altimeters from altimeter readings from ATC along the way down, but that's okay. We're assuming
I bugged us down to 9, Marshall.
Okay, thank you. We're assuming, like all New Yorkers, that the only place that exists in New York State is New York City. So, and for that matter, our altimeter settings can apply to the rest of the country.
As they should.
Very
They should
much.
just be broadcast nationwide.
All right, now just checking on our star here. I know we need to be at 9,000 at Robertson, and actually, you know what? Let's just check the platform altitude. I don't think we have an altitude again until we get to the approach. And again, ATC would be vectoring us and would be assigning us altitudes, but it's usually 9 and then down to 5 and then down to 3, which is the platform altitude.
Yeah, so how about I set up 3 at Cathode?
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, that'll give us an added bit of guidance, situational awareness. So you see right here, what we did was we put in 3,000 feet because we know that for better or worse, we need to be at 3,000 by then. And you'll eliminate the no link before then?
Yeah, well.
Okay. Let's see. What's our last point on our star is what, Rober?
So we're going to go right from Rober to Cathode is my plan.
Okay, and we are inbound Rober right now, and you can see that our VNav continues to work. Although it is, that's interesting. You know what? Let's see. It's still enunciating VNav path, but it's letting us get lower and lower. You want me to just go into VS mode for us?
I'm good here until we hit Rober.
Okay. That is weird. It should continue to follow it, but you're still deflecting up, right, on your VNav?
Yeah, my VNAV centered.
Oh, that's interesting.
Try crossfilling your FMC and see if it.
Oh, you know what? That is what it is.
Number, yeah.
Yes. Okay. All right. We hit upon a gotcha here. That's really dangerous, actually, to have two independent FMSs, but they don't stay. I mean, maybe that's just the way it always is. We should ask. What's her name? The pilot, the Dash pilot, who does YouTube stuff now.
Oh, is there one
from Western Canada? What's her name?
Oh yeah, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
All right, so we go to data, exfil plan, and I'll bet you that'll fix it.
So we're going to try and hold this about 240 knots from here on in.
Okay. Yeah, because we're below 10. Oh, and you know what? You know what time it is?
What time is it, Marshall?
It's dumb flight simulator landing light time.
Time to turn the lights on.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't mock, but that's all the damn comments I get in my comment thing.
Yeah. You're allowed to enjoy your hobby however you like, unless it involves what time you turn the lights on.
Yeah, in which case, go fuck yourself. On this very non-family friendly flight.
That's all right.
What is her name?
Emily.
Emily, Pilot Emily. I was going to say Pilot Julie. Pilot Emily.
So I had almost reached out to her before she got sort of flight sim famous. Because she had a bunch of videos of flying in the DRC and flying the Dash 8 in the DRC, and that's one of my 500 retirement schemes right now is going to Africa and just going and flying turboprops around for a couple of years.
Oh, you should definitely reach out. I mean,
so I was going to reach out. Now she's flight sim famous, and can't be asked.
Excuse me.
I suppose I still talk to you in time,
and who else is flight sim famous?
Well, you guys are.
No, I would have to say that she is less flight sim famous than you are flight sim famous.
Oh, I don't know about that. Okay,
let's see. We're coming up 1,000 to go here. Do you want me to spin you down to 3?
Yeah, let's do. So we'll go fly heading 230 to semi maintain 3,000. Expect vectors ILS 31.
Okay.
Right.
All right, stand by. Doing it now. 3,000 set. Say again, heading.
8,000 alt cell, heading 230.
Okay, 230 on your side.
I'll channel my inner pilot edge controller.
Yes, okay. 230, heading set. You're in pitch hold. Do you want vertical speed or do you want to stay on
I see roll hold and pitch hold, so let's do heading select, please, and vertical speed 2,000 feet.
Okay. Vertical speed 2,000 set. Do you want blue needles at this point?
Yeah, we can do blue since we're off the arrival, and I'm trying to keep the speed below 240.
Okay, blue needles it is. Come on, little blue needles. Actually, we need blue needles, and we need the localizer frequency in. There we go.
Okay, I see it.
Okay, we're on a not unreasonable intercept. I'm going to set blue needles on my side, and I see the same thing. So I assume ATC is going to turn us shortly. And let me do my arrival flow. So we'll go bleeds to min. And seatbelt sign set, landing light set. Ice protection as needed. Doing this a little early because this is New York and they keep us hopping, or at least that's my excuse. Landing performance.
Oh, we haven't even done those numbers yet, have we?
What was our V1 on departure?
It was 132.
All right, hold on. I've got the.
I've got the math here. So flaps 15, 62,000, 126 V approach, 126 V ref.
Okay, stand by. I'm setting it up on you.
So if I
120.
was ATC, it's a vectors final, fly heading 250 to maintain 3,000 to establish cleared ILS 31 right. I call
Okay.
it back and say cleared ILS 31 right.
All right, and I'd be putting in heading 250 and confirming that we're still in heading select. We are. Confirm that we're still outcell 3000, and we are. And you've got the descent the way you like it?
I do. Yeah.
Okay, we're good there. I've got our small buttons checked, and you want 126 VAP, but we've got about a 15 knot headwind.
So
do
just add 5 to it. I'm fine with that. We'll feel it out anyway.
Okay, so we'll do 131, and again, by feel it out, what Chris means is we'll see what our pitch and power looks like for the speed that we're at, and if we're way too nose high, it means we're a little slow, and if we're forcing the nose down to stay on the glide path, that means we're going too fast. 1,000 to go.
Taco.
And let's see, 131 will do for you. And what was the other?
Hang on, just working some. So it's we're talking speeds here.
Yeah, 131 and what, 142?
For what?
Yeah, let's see.
Sorry.
VAP is 131.
Flaps 15 is what we're doing. Should be 126.
Okay, plus
So
5
131, yeah.
is 131. Yeah. And I'm sorry, and our VREF is 126. Yeah, stand by.
Yeah. We're just kind of trying to keep the speed high-ish.
And we can do that. We do have the power. All right, I'm just checking everything else upstairs, make sure everything is good. You're not going to need any ice protection by the looks of it. We're clear of cloud.
Looks good to me.
And we are out over Jones Beach, give or take. We're just passing Fire Island off to our right. And everything is fine here. Landing altitude is set. Lights are the way we want them. Our cabin is descending. All is fine there. And our seatbelt signs are, you know, I swear to God, I turned them off. I turned them on.
No, again, it's all about passenger comfort. If you want to get up and get your headphones
That's true.
before we hit the initial approach fix, you're allowed to do that here.
Yeah, all we ask at our airline is that A, you be happy, and B, you flush.
And C, you come back. Just come back anytime.
Okay, now technically if we were good pilots, what we would also do is this. We would go down to our ARC-DO and we would pop into our audio panel here, VHF1, and we would listen for the beeps of the localizer.
We would, yeah.
And just confirming, 111.5 is in and set. And why am I not hearing it? Oh, well. Huh. Oh, you know why? Because that's ATC. I've got AUX1, AUX2. Oh, here. I'm a moron. It's down here.
Ooh, I hear it.
So what you do is you look at your plate, it gives you the Morse code identifier for it, and then you listen to the Morse code. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set up Chris's HUD in case he wants to use it. I'll set it into... Oh, that's interesting. It's not letting me set into IMC mode, but I'll set the runway length and enter. And airfield elevation is 13. I'll put that in there. 1, 3, and enter. And now it should let me... Oh, it's not letting me pop into IMC mode, but maybe when we turn final, it will. And that will give him, if he wants, a HUD to use. I'm stuttering a little bit, probably because we're loading all this scenery.
Doing okay here. Let me know if you need me to change anything.
No, I'm fine. Now, we're basically just waiting for the glide slope here. And at some point, since we're at about 42% torque, probably when we start going downhill, that's going to come down to around 17% or so. So at some point, Chris is going to roll back the power bit by bit, and we will decelerate. When we get below 200, we can do flaps 5. The other thing I will do when we start going down is I will, well, you know, we might as well do it. Well, no, we're not. Our torque isn't low enough.
Now we're gonna hit the glide slope at Maldi, so I'm coming off the power now.
Yep, and Maldi is also where, and what I'm doing is I'm setting us to reduce noise profile landing, so we're going to land at 850 on the props for a little bit more quiet. That and flaps 15 also makes this land a little bit more like a jet. Although you still
flaps
have
15, so much nicer than flaps 35.
Flaps 30,
if you get the room for it.
Yeah, flaps 35 puts you into a kind of nose down attitude. It makes you roll off the power at just the right point, and it makes you pitch up a hell of a lot to flare.
There's 200 knots, flaps 5, please.
Okay, speed checks, flaps 5. All right, now you see where the power is there, and you can see the glide slope is just coming in. And glide slope capture. You can see we're starting to come down. What's our missed approach, 3,000?
4,000. Straight ahead to 1,800, left turn to 4,000.
Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to set our altitude to 4,000. So if we have to go missed, and we never go missed.
No.
All right, if we have to go missed, then we will have the right altitude set. And what will happen is, oh, you know, I don't do the whole procedure with the tune approach, activate approach when I'm doing ILS. I think if we don't do that, it's not going to give us the right guidance for go around. So why don't I do that?
Go for it. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go nav, arm approach. Now I'm going to hit activate approach. I hope it doesn't obliterate a bunch of waypoints, but we're established on the ILS, and we're going to get handed over to the tower at Zulab. So I'm going to say Kennedy Tower, Marshall Chris 125, ILS 31 right, Zulab.
And gear down, flaps 10, please.
Gear down. Flaps, I can go flaps 15 if you want.
Sure.
It beeps because flaps 10 is a funky configuration. Okay, that should do it for that.
Okay, flaps 15, I see it. Gears down, 3 green, we're clear to land. And
Hang
once
on.
we hit 1,000 feet and kill the autopilot.
Okay. You're flying very continental, very European today. Autopilot at 1,000. All right, and at 6 miles, we should be about 1,800 feet, and we're a little less than 6, and we're a little less than 18. And so what I've done is I just cross-checked our approach to make sure that this isn't lying to us. All right, in a second, the autopilot's going to come out. What I'm going to do is one last time, I'm going to see if I can make this... Oh, I know why it's not... Yeah, okay. You've got the HUD if you want it.
Oh, no, we're good.
Okay, autopilot coming out.
Do it.
Okay, autopilot out. And look at that. There we are. And the Manhattan skyline, too. That's pretty damn nice.
Looks fantastic. See, my advanced flight sim peripheral keep us where we need to be.
I could be sneaky and turn off the flight director.
I mean, you could kill it at this point if you really wanted to, but I like it.
That is your call. Boy, this does not look like FS 2020, does it?
No.
A little slow.
Picking it up.
Yeah, let me check the flaps because you're putting in a lot of power for the... Oh, you know why? We've got a hefty headwind. Yep, no, flaps are fine. Actually, if they weren't fine, it would be shouting at us, so...
A dot below. Correcting.
Well, my frames are going to shit.
$119 is my magic airspeed number. I've just blown through it.
Nice. Very nice. And I'm just doing my little flows here.
Woo. It blew the engine out.
Oh, you oversped in reverse?
I think so.
Let's go to the British Airways terminal. Now, if I were...
Right. Just suspend your disbelief for a moment while I turn the nose wheel steering on.
Well, I mean, the tower said left turn when able, and we just weren't able.
That's right.
All right, so as we do that, I'll put our gust lock on. I'll get all our peanut switches off here. Unless we want to do a very late missed approach. And make sure our lights are...
Alpha to the ramp, I guess.
Yep, that is a very common radio call. Either stay with me and alpha to the ramp, or ground 0.8 and alpha to the ramp. Which is what, 121.8. And we're going to stay squawking where we're squawking. We're going to turn off the weather radar. A real first officer in a dash will do what I'm doing unbelievably fast. All in one sweeping motion. Turn the heats off. Turn the lights on. Turn the weather radar off. Get the gust lock in. Flaps can come up. That's a rookie move. Arriving at the gate with your flaps down. And any old place will do here. This is the world's worst terminal. This thing went up in the 70s and probably should have been torn down in the 80s. All right, and there we are. And parking brake set.
See it.
Props can come too. We want external power, yes. Oh, you have to call for it in the...
Yeah, we'll do.
Okay, bus tie tied. And shut them down.
Beauty.
All right, nice leg.
Pretty uncontentious.
Yeah.
Considering we went from Bravo to Bravo.
Quick one to Montreal.
Let's do it.
Okay, now that I'm less familiar with.
I couldn't be less familiar.
I was going to say you want to do Pearson, except I don't have Pearson in there. Or we could do, I was going to say we could do Billy Bishop.
There's nothing wrong going back to Boston.
Um,
Whatever tickles your fancy.
Boston's a nice flight.
Yeah, I mean, it's an hour.
Okay, sounds good. Let me just quickly look up a route here.
Sounds good. I will once again leave you while I search for a fresh beverage.
Sounds good. I
Switch
wish I'd remembered to get beer, but what I will do right now is very briefly turn off my radiator. And also,
I will splice this recording.
Just wondering. There we go. Stand by. Okay, this is going to be the world's trickiest route to fly here. It is the Merritt departure and the Roebuck 3 arrival. So here, I'm going to walk through this here, and I'm going to just need you to help me out here. I'm right now at the services page. Do I initiate? No, that's de-ice. Let me just get out of there. Let's see. How do we clear out a flight plan? So we go to flight plan, menu.
Delete flight plan.
Hot diggity. All right, so. And didn't delete, but that's my fault. Let's see. Flight plan, menu. Delete flight plan. Come on. Okay, now it looks like it deleted. I'm looking at Chris's nav display, or actually my nav display at this point, and it is empty. So go to flight plan. It is empty. I don't think we need to refuel, but let's just see how much we got. Oh, we got enough if you want.
Yeah, it should be about 2,000 pounds for us to get back.
All right, well, we got 1935, so let's go to 2100, just so that we have what we need. So let's see, weight and balance. So that's what, 4,200? And we'll go with the same passenger load, I guess. Let's see what our COG is perfect. It's right just about in the middle. I've got my trip fuel wrong, though. What is the distinction between the two? Takeoff fuel, where you knock off 100 pounds or so for taxiing?
I always thought your trip fuel is if you're bringing extra gas with you.
All right, well, when we're just 4,200 and 4,200, and I'm going to send the data to the flight sim, and I presume yours will pick it up too, right?
I see it at 2,100 aside.
Okay, yep, me too.
Yeah, for takeoff mass. Or for your zero fuel weight.
Okay, zero fuel mass. Here, I'll plug it in. So we go to our fuel page, and for some reason I'm on page 2, so we go to page 1, and zero fuel weight should be 57,999. So we have to change that.
60 plus. Okay.
Okay, so 50.
That'll put us at max gross if you do that, but that's fine too.
Yeah, that puts us at 63 or 62,997. And we are porky.
Nothing wrong with that though.
Oh, the CG is in the right place. In the dash, it tends to creep forward, so you don't want it to creep forward because it makes the plane kind of nasty to handle. And we want to be dressed for success here. So data goes to the flight sim. There we are. All right, so now let's see. Enter the passenger. Well, you know what? We've already got the gross weight. We don't need anything else, right?
Yeah, that's the way I do it. I just put the gross weight in and let it figure it out.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to put in how much of that is passengers. We have the gross weight. And it's got its COG, so there's nothing else we need, right?
I agree.
All right, good. You see, we do things the right way at this airline. Okay.
Yeah, I don't care what the passengers weigh. I care what the airplane weighs. MICG is good.
All right. Now, ordinarily, we go off of runway. We'd be going off of runway 13 right. Generally, you don't depart on 13 left. What am I saying? 13 left. Jesus. 31 left. And yeah, might as well. Okay. It's a bit of a taxi, but it's a bit of a taxi no matter what we do, because we're kind of on the wrong end of the airport for everything, which is the Kennedy story. Okay, so we go to our flight plan. We go plug in KJ FK and enter, and then we go to menu, depart. Choose 4 for 13 right. And for the SID, why did I say, yeah, 13, oh, they're doing the merit. God, what are they departing off of? 22 right? Hang on, let's go back. I wonder, let's see, the 22 right would put us right onto the Roebuck, I would think. So 22 left, I mean, is 5.
The Roebuck's an Arrival, right?
Oh, I'm losing my mind. Yes.
Yeah.
We want the merit, but it's not giving us the merit either. Huh. I wonder if it's not in the database. Do you have the merit in yours?
Yeah, let me take a look. Hang on.
I want to say it's the merit 5, but it's been so long. Last time I flew this route, it was the Parch 1.
The Merit 6.
Merit 6. No, I don't have it.
I need to delete my flight plan. Delete flight plan. Okay. JFK. Menu, depart. And 22 left. Now I see the D's 5 and the JFK 5. That's it. So part of it is that it may just not accept it off that runway.
Yeah, hold on. Let me look at the plates and see if there's something fishy about that, and that's probably what it is. So just going to Navigraph here.
Yeah, it seems to accept it off the 22s. It just may only take it off 22 right. No, so it'll take it off 22 left. It's weird.
It will.
Oh, you know what? Because it's just a vector departure.
Yeah, I mean, all of them are, but still. Well, we can, if we just want a vector departure, we could do the Kennedy 5. So I think that's just, it's just runway heading. So, all right. So JFK and actually no, 22 right is the correct runway. And I mean, geez, what runway would you be flying out of with the wind? I mean, I guess we would be departing off of, I guess we could just as easily depart off of 31 left. That's probably the better way to go.
Sure.
So, okay. Like I said, knocking the rust off here. Okay, so
it's been a while.
So menu, depart. 31 left is 7. Gives us the JFK 5, the score 4. Let's do the JFK 5. I think that's just a vector. Yeah, that's all it is. Okay, good. Okay, back to our flight plan, and as the Canarsie climb. So let's call up here the JFK 5, and you notice on it, you have the plate up, Chris?
I do.
Okay, so you basically do a climbing left-hand turn to Canarsie.
Yeah, and then the 196 radial southeast bound or southbound.
Yeah, the 176, because we're gonna want the Canarsie climb for our direction of flight. Breezy Point climb is for stuff that ends up going to the west. So the Canarsie climb is we go off of 176 radial of Canarsie.
Beauty.
So I'm going to stick 112.3 in the arc due. Oh, you know what's going on? When you load the fuel, it pauses the sim. No wonder.
Oh, yeah.
That is wild. And I can't hear anything.
Let's unpause it. It should come back.
Yeah, I did. Oh, come on. I don't want to have to reload.
See lights on and off, and off.
I do. And oh, you know what I just forgot? We're cold and dark.
Yeah.
Duh. Okay, external power is on. Good Lord. No wonder I can't hear anything. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm like Mr. Magoo here.
Yeah, the research fans are on. You should hear a little bit of something.
Let me see. Yeah, now I do. Yeah, the last thing I want is this thing in John Fly mode. All right, so 112.3 is going to go here. I wish there were a way to copy it from one side to the other, as well.
Yeah.
That would be ergonomically lovely. Okay, so I've got 112.3. I'm going to give Chris the same thing in case he wants to fly the airplane instead. and at the rate I'm going here, it's a real possibility. All right, and I may be doing this in funky order, but we'll put 176 in the course, and that way we know what we're aiming at. I'm almost we're gonna put exactly the same thing in the pink. It's gonna go in the pink needles that way too, but I'm just gonna put it in as a backup in case we want to do it the other way. All right, so there we go there, and then it's just onto the Roebuck Arrival. So I'm gonna put KBOS in here, and we're gonna assume they're landing on the same runway we departed off of. So that's 15 right. Okay, so again, we go to menu, arrival, and 15 right is number 6. Punch that in. The star is going to be the Roebuck 3. That is in the database. And the transition. Oh, let's see. I guess we can do the Merit transition, or you could do the JFK transition. I guess. Yeah, You know more about this than I would. If you're going straight from a SID to a star, well, no. You know what? If it's a JFK transition, it'll put JFK in the box as well as if we were flying back to it. So we'd want Merritt, which is over Connecticut. So
yeah, you could do that.
Okay.
I mean, we have to suspend a little bit of disbelief here anyway. I don't think that we'd actually get the Roebuck 3. But
right.
Number one, it's turbojet only anyway. But
yeah. Well, we'd probably get vectors in a contemptuous.
Yeah, you would get a very carefully managed route, I would imagine, between these two airports.
Yeah, well, and also the only thing that flies between these two routes now are regional jets instead of the Q.
Oh,
so, all right, so we'll do ILS. We'll expect ILS 15 right. And let me just get the plate up there and see what kind of transition it is. As we do remedial IFR here. And I haven't figured out, let's see, how to get charts from, I see how to get charts from two airports up. You just have to make them your favorites here, add them to favorites. And I'm sure once you get to know how to use this thing, it's a tremendous, tremendous help. And when I used to be doing this every single day, I noticed you've been flying the You've been flying the Airbus in what, the Tolus?
No, it's the test.exe Flight Sim Labs
Oh, I hear that's
edition.
really
Yeah.
that's really good.
It is exceptional. Yeah. The performance is not great, but the airplane has a few isms. I mean, a few at best, but it is so much fun to fly.
Well, they're
The Q will always have a special place in my heart, and I can throw this Q around. Maybe less so with an Xbox controller, but with my actual HOTAS plugged in, like I am really confident flying the Q400, and I am really unconfident flying the 320. But
yeah.
the 320 has a certain charm to it in that it's always trying to help you, and it's nice having something always trying to help you. Whereas for the last decade, my flight sim experience has been, what can I find that will help me the least, and how do I exploit it? How do I exploit it to damage my self-esteem?
You have always enjoyed the raw datas.
Yeah, I love the raw data. Yeah, but it's the 320 is great because it does a bunch of things for you that you wouldn't expect it to, and occasionally there's a few gotchas where you're expecting there's something that it has helped you do previously that you didn't expect it to, and there's something that there's no good reason why it wouldn't help you, and it hasn't done that thing, and you sort of get behind the airplane a little bit that way.
Yeah.
Anyway, real fun just learning a new sort of ecosystem, I guess.
Well, and the other thing that people don't understand, and I have to say, my good friend Les, the lifelong Boeing pilot, doesn't understand that just because it has a joystick and is fly-by-wire doesn't mean it's not a hoot to fly by hand.
That's true.
Because they're really, at least in the fake version, I'd love to get into a Level D sim and try it out. They're a lot of fun to fly by hand.
I hear great things about him flying that 320.
Well, ironically, so does he. I mean, one of his best friends down at the airport where he lives is a. I'm just going to cross-fill you here.
Thank you.
Is a. Let's see, flies for Frontier, and is a 320 pilot, and she loves it.
Oh yeah. I know probably half a dozen 320 pilots, and I've never heard a bad word about it.
And especially the 319s and the newer 321s are sporty.
Oh, that's interesting. Because I had heard less encouraging things about the 321 from a performance perspective. Like the guys I know who do fly the 321 will say, "Oh, you really know," because it takes some coaxing.
Well, you have to be aware, things like you have to be very, very aware of, rotation and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But, apart from that, they have enough engine, which the earlier ones didn't.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
So
well, I've exclusively, at least, in flight sim, obviously been flying the 319. And I really wish someone had made a 318. Like, I really want a business jet size Airbus to go blast around in. The 319's been great though.
Well, the whatchamacallit, the really fancy, not Gulfstreams, but I think the Falcons I think they're fly-by-wire.
It must be.
And I think the new Gulfstreams are too. So
I've flown the 650 sim, the Gulfstream 650.
Mm-hmm.
At Gulfstream, oddly enough.
No kidding.
In Savannah. Yeah.
Wow. That
only had a chance to fly for a few minutes, but it was a lot of fun.
Do tell. Those things.
I can't even tell that story. I don't even know why I brought it up. We'll talk later.
All right. Okay.
When our fans aren't around.
Good Lord. Wow.
Maybe Pilot Emily will call me if she knows.
Well, she'll certainly think better of you for it.
Maybe she'll slide into my DMs to find out why I was in Savannah.
I know you're resistant to even thinking this, but you're as big a flight sim celebrity as she is.
It has been.
You've been around so long.
That's right.
All right,
legacy.
So the last flight that did this flew at 190, so we might as well do the same. And let me
it sounds right.
Let me just see the altitude restrictions on here. it's usually 5,000 feet until we get turned towards Merritt, if I remember my my ATC. Max would know.
Yeah, I love that guy.
Max used to fly a Cirrus out of Kennedy, which is just magnificently fun.
Yeah, I mean, I say ludicrous, but I'll accept. Magnificently fun.
You know, I mean, it's a hoot and a half. All right, now let me see. Where's my damn departure? Sorry, I just blew out that chart. God damn it. Yeah.
Well, what airport does he fly out of?
He flies out of Westchester.
Westchester.
Which is just north of here. It's about a 40-minute drive outside the city. And it's basically where almost every business jet is, either that or Teterboro.
White Plains. That's right.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so New York charts.
Yeah, sorry, I distracted us.
No. The distractions are really part of the whole thing.
The passengers are probably still loading anyway.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's see. Coming off a 3-1 left, right, the Canarsie climb, climbing left, turn, direct Canarsie. East of Canarsie, 2039. All right, so what we're going to do is we'll fly to Canarsie. We will we'll turn left to 176, and we'll do that. Let's do that really old school. Let's do it nav in Blue Needles mode.
That's how I would do it, yeah.
And so what I've got set right now is the outgoing radial from Canarsie that will fly. We'll fly that for a certain distance. We'll climb up to 5,000. Then we'll make like ATC turned us to Merritt.
I like it. Yep.
And we'll go in heading mode. And while we're in heading mode, we'll switch over to Pick Needles. For our gentle viewers, that's basically because this thing has two modes of navigation. It doesn't automatically blend anything. And you can't just switch between one and the other or you'll get jerked around the sky. So you have to stop off in heading mode first, usually. And then you have to flip your needles and then you have to go back into nav mode and pick it up from there. So.
Yeah, we're just doing it. Yeah, we're doing it old school.
Okay. And
it's hard to screw it up, for lack of a better term. So if it's in pink needles and something goes wrong, and then you have to switch into a different nav source, and then you're going to spend, 10 or 15 seconds sort of making sure everything is set up the way you want it to. This way, we're defaulting to the slightly harder version, but guaranteed to be successful version.
Exactly. And I'm going to just check takeoff speeds right now. We're at 63,000 pounds. So to be conservative, we'll say it's 64 because that's where the table is. And we're at sea level. We are below 20C. We're flaps 5. And so V1 and VR is 133. And V2 is 135.
I see it.
Okay, so 133, 135, V fry, which is our, what am I doing here? I just put in V1, 133, VR, 133. That's what I should be doing. This is also a perverted system. 135, for lack of a better word. Okay, V fry, which is our flaps retraction speed, is 146. And V climb is 154. And I believe now they've got it so that there isn't a dashism that you can't set the final two on the right side. I think you can set them on the right side now also.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, I haven't bothered, but
you can sneak a peek across at mine. Okay, so
yeah, so my first three are set, and then I'm pretty comfortable.
Okay.
It's gonna be 46, 58 for the other two. 46 for flaps retract, 58 for climb, and then I'll just sort of go off your commands once we get past the first 1,000 feet.
Okay, so again, the brief is just going to be, we're going to take off heading mode, runway heading. We're probably going to climb to 1,000 and then get handed over to departure. And we're going to fly the Canarsie climb, so we're going to start a left turn towards Canarsie. We're both in Blue Needles mode, and we're going to basically fly that until the CDI is centered, and that's going to fly us directly to Canarsie. And then we're going to come out of Canarsie in heading mode, and we're going to fly straight out. And you know what? We should just stay in heading mode the whole way. I'll fly raw data.
Great.
I mean, if I can't find Canarsie from living in New York for 25 years, then I'm in a world of hurt. So we'll go heading select, and what is runway heading? 314 and 314 on the right. And all right, that looks good. You ready for before start?
I'm ready for the before start. Would you like the challenge and response?
You betcha. Give it to me.
Okay, trims.
Set ×3.
Sounds good. Door and fueling lights
are checked.
Passenger signs coming on. And cabin reports received. Flight door deck is locked. Anti-collision light is set to red. Sorry, I'm doing part of your part. AP bleed
is off and min.
It's fine. We're on ground cart right now anyway. And electrical side's up on my side. Batteries and bus volts. Battery
checked.
All right. So for battery start, we need greater than 23 volts. We're on ground power right now. I don't know why we're not getting
a battery report.
Juice off the ground power unit. I don't think it ever showed up, did it? So I might have to. I'll fire up the APU. I guess some electrical power.
Yeah, hold on. Let me pop up the system page again and see if we're actually just draining our battery. Let's see. Yes, we are. We're down to. Let's see. We're down to 23.9 on the bus. And
okay, we only need 22 for the start, but I'll like I said, I'll get the APU up for Jen.
Hey, wait a second. Look at the battery here.
Yeah, which one? 26 volts now. Now the APU's on.
Oh, okay. That's the load on the battery. Okay. All right. Yeah. All right. Makes sense. All right. We're good there. Hey, I hear an APU bleed coming on. While I'm at it, let me just unfudge my display here. We're going to have the same squawk code. And actually, since we're starting up in a second, we'll squawk Charlie because they've got ground surveillance radar here. Okay, back on nav. We never opened the doors, did we?
No.
We don't do that.
Wiggle out.
That's what the axe is for.
That's right.
Okay, let us see. I think everything else is good. You want to walk through the flight plan just to make sure we're good there?
Yeah, I'll do it just in the box here. I'll look at your box actually.
Oh,
so yeah. JFK direct to CRI, which we're going to do on Blue Needles, direct Merritt to Ruiz between 23 and 210, which we're not going to hit.
Right.
And then onto the Arrival.
Yeah, I mean, we can pretend we're not going to hit it, or I can just explicitly set it to 190.
Yeah, I think realistically we're going to start the Arrival at Roebuck, which is between 19 and 12 at 260 knots.
Yep.
We'll start paying attention at that point.
Yep. All right, just as a reminder, I've got it set to 190. I'm not sure that's going to matter for anything except maybe VNAV calculations if it ever comes to that.
Right.
Now, basically, the Canarsie climb is just a climbing turn. And with our turn radius and the distance we are from Canarsie, it's really almost a climbing turn directly to our outbound heading from the station. So, that's going to be a process.
And then you would expect something like Hey, fly heading 030, direct merit when able.
Exactly. And they do those pre-canned climbs just to keep traffic separated, and so they can launch more off of the 31s.
That makes sense.
Basically, they can go about every 90 seconds, allowing for wake turbulence, especially since they've got a mix of aircraft with different performances, but they're all assigned to different climbs usually.
Right.
So it's really a cool balancing act they do here. All right, let's.
Oh man, if I had three lives to live, I would spend one of them as an air traffic controller. I think that's such a cool job.
Well, also, I think what Pilot Ed should do is they should get Kennedy Steve as a guest controller. He would love to do that. That would be so much fun. By the way, my altitude is showing 240 feet, and so is yours, and we should really be only showing about 20 feet.
Yeah, what's your altitude set to?
So mine is set for 3015, but let's just see if that changed.
Yeah, 3014 at JFK.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I see elevation at JFK is 13 feet 13.
Yeah, well, our altimeter is showing. That's either 240 or that 2 is left over from the altitude tape there. Oh, well. All right, well, whatever.
Let's see what happens. Hang on.
Are you still seeing?
Yeah, you're right. So if I set it to 20 feet, my altimeter setting's 2992.
That's weird.
That's weird. It's like Active Sky is not pushing it or something.
Yeah, you want to reload Active Sky? It's not going to break anything, I don't think.
Yeah, I just hit refresh on it. I didn't change anything.
Oh.
We'll just leave it at 9.2. It seems to be the most accurate setting.
Yeah, that makes. How do you refresh Active Sky, by the way?
In the version I have, when I'm on the flight plan page, I have a load, save, print, clear, waypoints, refresh option just underneath it.
Ah. Yeah, bum. Ah, there it is. Refresh. Excellent. All right, yeah, it's still doing the same thing. So yeah, let's just set 2992. And you know what? That's one less flight sim thing to do.
That's true. Yeah. Can't go to flight sim jail if it's already set.
No, the YouTube gods are smiling on us. Now, what I'm also going to do for our new to the dash folks is I'm taking the MDA and I'm spinning that up to 1,013 feet, and that's going to be our acceleration altitude.
No, you do it the fancy way. I like it.
Just the obsessive compulsive way.
No criticism here.
Is say obsessive compulsive or anal retentive if you're talking dirty or at a psychiatrist's office. Okay, so there we go. All right, so I'm all set. Are you ready to push and start?
Ready to push and start.
All right, now just so we're synced up, I'm not touching my. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put my prop levers just for syncing things. I don't want to screw anything up. I'm going to put my dimin just so my levers are in the right place. And why don't you just sort of refresh yours, move them up and down and move it back to, cut off.
Okay. So when I move them to cut off?
It doesn't all cut off? So I guess I have to be in cut off too. Okay. Yeah. Okay, cool.
So if you leave yours here, let me see what happens when I move them to min.
Okay, and...
Okay, so you'll just have to leave yours fully aft.
Yeah, and I'll just leave them throughout, so it's...
We'll make that a co-pilot responsibility.
Yep, that's all yours.
All right, I have the condition levers.
Okay, have at it.
You ready to start 2?
You bet.
Clear on the right, starting 2. Fuel's coming in. Fuel flows up. ITT's coming up. It's rotation. These things come up so fast, man.
That's Pratt & Whitney Canada for you.
Good work, I tell ya.
Well, by all accounts, they are supposed to be amazingly good engines. As are the PT6s.
Right, lights out, good start on the right, starting 1, clear on the left. Feels in. It's good rotation. It's a good start on 1. You have 2 good engines, sir.
Hot diggity. That's the official response.
It is on our airline. Yeah.
And this will be an end-top takeoff on 3-1 left. We have a mere 14,500 feet of runway.
Very little to work with here.
Yeah, so...
Right, after start checklist challenge and response APU
is, you know what, is off.
it's main bus tie.
Is untied or off.
Perfect. Electrical panels.
Are set and checked.
Ignition levers.
Are max.
Auto feather.
Is set.
Perfect. Fuel pumps and hydraulic pumps.
Are set on.
Laps and speeds.
Let's give us 5. That is set. And speeds, we're going to do IAS 180.
Okay, I see it. And rudder.
Is checked.
Perfect. Nose wheel steering.
Oh, yeah, you know what? That is, I'm going to have to do the embarrassing thing, is off for the push. But
Perfect.
I'll turn it on because we're going to just reverse out of here.
Perfect. And then PFD, MFD, and ED.
Are set as I like it. To confirm, we are heading select runway heading. We're 5,000 outcell. IAS 180. Blue needles. Tuned to Canarsie. Departing Canarsie 176 radial.
I love it. All seen on my end. And the non-challenger response stuff is all done.
Okay, that is deeply awesome. Now, let me just, before we do anything, let me just get a taxi diagram up on my iPad because otherwise we're going to do what everybody does at Kennedy, and that is to get lost.
I can see how you would though, man.
I never remember whether Bravo is clockwise and Alpha is counterclockwise or vice versa. So since we taxied in on Alpha, we'll taxi out on Bravo.
Love it.
But because it's just the rules. You know.
You drive on the right hand side of the road?
Exactly. Yeah, it's the non-backtrack rule.
Non-backtrack.
You know. All right, hang on. Let me just get a
You're better man than I. If it weren't for Pilot Edge, I would be via direct to the numbers at 2T left right now via the infield.
Yeah, well, you know. All right, let's see. Taxi chart. God, I don't want to be like one of those, pilots from Slobovia or something like that. You know,
he's leaving the part of the fence and the gear well.
Yeah, he's left Foxtrot, right Bravo.
I mean, look at the map. Like, yeah, that's pretty well laid out. Like, there's a nice little ring road around the terminals, and it all makes sense. But
yeah, all right. Let's see. Okay. So we'll do English style. We'll do Bravo. Let's see. We'll do Bravo Juliet Kilo, and we'll take an intersection departure because God knows we can make do with 11,000 feet.
I'll do the math while we're taxiing for 15 minutes.
Okay, so you do concur.
do concur, yeah.
All right, let's see. We're at British Airways, and so we should push out of here. That's how dyslexic I am. I'm going to pop outside. Oh, we're right up against a 777.
That's fine.
Okay, so we're gonna push out and then go nose right so we don't hit this poor guy. All right, you ready? You ready to push?
Ready.
Or are you ready to back up? All right, now I'm gonna try it your way here. We're gonna just. Oh, I like.
Don't touch the brakes. That's the only rule.
No, I know, I know.
Bring the power back in.
Yep, there we go.
C-130s do this all the time.
Well, damn it, any manly airplane should be able to.
I don't want to take jobs away from people, but
All right, we cut that a little close. I want
okay,
to.
no one.
I want to avoid a taxiway here, but I like. Okay.
Man, can you imagine if you're on a regional flight and they did that? I would be high-fiving people on the way out.
I was on an Eastern Airlines 727 once, and we did that coming out of Sarasota, Bradenton. And
Sarasota is my bigger question.
I could not have been happier. I was a kid, and I was just stoked.
Oh yeah.
All right, shall we? Let's see. We're clear on the right. We are clear on the left. And we'll go to Bravo.
All right, so you're going whiskey straight ahead to Bravo?
Yeah, I don't have a whiskey sign, but I presume whiskey is... I've got us at Victor Alpha.
Yeah.
So
if you go straight ahead...
Yeah,
so Victor Alpha goes left, right?
Yes.
Straight ahead to Bravo.
Okay, and we're going ahead to Bravo right now. Bravo should be next.
Right turn on Bravo.
When I flew out of here on a 777 with Les sitting next to me, as we taxied towards 13 right past the JetBlue hangars,
You shed a solitary tear.
No, he himself raised the one finger salute to the nice folks at JetBlue. He said that it's just an American tradition, American Airlines tradition.
Love it.
All right, coming up on whiskey.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm not.
We're on Bravo.
Yeah, yes, and we want to go to Alpha though. Oh shit, we're on Alpha. Where are we?
So right turn will get you to Alpha. I think we're doing.
Yeah, we're going the.
Okay, on Bravo. I think
we're going the outboard thing here.
Yeah. We're driving UK rules.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's just stay on Bravo.
I've only ever once driven on, since we have some time to kill. I've only ever driven once on the wrong side of the road, the incorrect side of the road. I was in Barbados.
Oh yeah.
A couple years ago. And it is terrifying. It took me like 3 days probably to get used to not only sitting in the wrong seat of the car, but driving on the wrong side of the road. It took a lot of getting used to. I've driven in Europe, I've driven in Africa, I've driven in North America, like extensively, as you would imagine. Motorcycles, cars, take your pick. I've been all over the place. And I mean, Barbados for one, I think the traffic rules are not strictly enforced. And driving on the wrong side of the road in the wrong side of the car was really weird.
Oh, I can imagine. I've never done a lot of driving outside of the country. I try not to rent cars when I go places. I just try and take trains or public transit just because I like the idea of getting to know the place.
Well, because you're a smarter man than I.
Well, no, it's because I'm not there on any kind of business. So,
right.
Otherwise, yeah, I would be.
You must miss traveling, eh?
I really do, and I haven't done enough of it. And I really want to go some places like to the Far East. I've never been.
Oh.
My dad and stepmom go to India all the time, because she's an art curator type, and so she buys folk art and things like that. And, you know, he's just an asshole who tags along.
We can all dream, right?
Exactly. Yeah, he retired at about age, I don't know, 58.
Good man.
Well, you know, you get into radiology. The only thing better is dermatology. Let's do a control. Yeah, we'll do whatever control system check we can.
You want me to run through the the taxi checklist?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, brakes.
Hang on. Tested.
Okay, takeoff warning. I don't even remember how to do that.
I think you have to set something wrong and then move the levers or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Consider it tested. Between the two of us, we've decided.
Yeah.
Takeoff power, NTOP or reduce power.
It's NTOP and it's set.
Love it. And so my side, flange distribution checked. Hydraulic pumps. Number 3 hydraulic pump is on. Yaw damper, it's on me. Is checked. Clearances reviewed by pilot flying. Sure. Cabin secure. Okay.
All right, beautiful. And actually, I'm going to turn off my flight directors because I can't seem to. I can't. It's not like I'm being ballsy. It's just that I can't get them to give me toga guidance, apparently. Oh, look at that. When you go into standby, what's interesting is that you have to reset every damn other thing else. Look at that. So we want heading select 176.
Toga guidance because you had manually set a heading and a speed.
Exactly, yeah. That's an interesting little dashism I didn't know.
Yeah, that's why I do that. Because I put it in toga mode and then I override the pitch and roll
Okay,
command.
so now I'm in toga. And I'm going to actually leave the pitch mode in toga, so I'll have that guidance. And let's see, what did we want? Heading was 315.
Yeah, the only thing I would caution you is, if I may so boldly, is I hit the alt cell again.
Yes. Oh, yeah, you have to recycle that too.
Yeah.
Look at that.
The only way you can get alt cell going is through toga. Like, it needs to be in a flight director guidance mode.
Interesting. All right, well, consider it alt-celled. That is wild, as Johnny Carson would say.
It's a report of inquiry because of your follow.
Oh, call me onto the carpet.
Chris, we talked about this in your stream 17 about what the flight director guidance mode is actually called.
Yeah. Well,
Like, I know, you're right. I'm sorry.
You gotta do your best Bill Murray voice.
All right. Well, we're coming past the hotel, so we're almost there. It'll be Juliet to go, and then straight ahead on a 3-1 left.
Yep. Well, to Kilo, which a little stub of Kilo.
That's true. Yeah, we'll stub a kilo.
I gotta love all those brand new Far Eastern airports where they're just 4 parallel runways and that's it.
Oh, it makes me so happy. I guess they're trying to build them around a city that's 400 years old too.
Or in China's case, they just want to build as much as they can.
That's true. Yeah, I haven't been to Dubai. I don't think they had too many considerations to worry about.
No. Certainly not for that whole city, a good taste.
Yo, I'm gonna timestamp this on the YouTube video.
Yeah.
When I come back for it.
I'm not sure whether Q8 pilot would agree or disagree with that, considering he's from a non-invented city.
That's true. Yeah. Dubai was great. It was like an old people's Las Vegas.
That's what it seems.
Yeah, I loved it.
Left turn here.
Yeah.
Oh, this doesn't really turn very well. I'll use a little diff braking. We'll hold short here.
Okay, I'm doing the lineup checklist as we speak.
Okay, Wonder Bar.
Don't mind the windshield wiper zeros.
No. That was a good call.
That's right. So the only thing that you need to verify for me is that you're happy with the go-around heading and altitude mode that you have set up.
I am indeed.
Okay, lineup checklist complete.
Okay, clear left.
We're on the right.
And we've been told to line up and wait. It was only recently, a few years ago, that the United States switched from position and hold to line up and wait, which is the international. And that's about the only international thing we've adopted.
I much prefer line up and wait.
Well, it's less ambiguous. I mean, somebody might hear hold as roll or something, I guess.
Yeah.
And wait emphasizes something better than hold.
Yeah, it is a very plain language way of saying don't do anything else.
Yep.
Wait here.
All right, let's try for the worst lineup imaginable. Oh, that's not too bad. Okay. All right, so we're going to climb up. We've got runway heading set, give or take. We've got, what kind of wind do we have right now? We've got about...
Oh, wind's JFK 310 at 14.
Looking good. Okay, that should be fun. Are you ready?
Ready.
All right. Oh.
So, all right, gust lock. That's on me. Now you're ready.
Okay. Okay, takeoff power set. Oh, we are heavy. Wow.
This is the slowest I have seen the dash accelerate.
We are porky.
Alive, though.
Barely alive. Also, I'm getting crappy frames.
Yeah, I'm at 28, maybe. There's 80 knots. Nope, sorry, at 70. 80 knots.
Checked. Yeah, I'm kind of laggy here. Wow, this is like 707 rotate speeds.
Rotate.
Okay, positive rate. Gear up.
Gear up.
Ooh, need some big nose down trim here. There we go. Okay, now I'm not even gonna wait till the end of the runway here. We're gonna turn towards Canarsie.
Yep.
And I'm looking at my DME. We are 4.5 miles from Canarsie. This whole thing was devised by pilots from American Airlines, I believe, flew this first departure and arrival route, and that was let's see, wow, I was going to say we should be at 1,000 AGL by now, but fat chance.
Nope, not even close. It's okay, you're well above your flaps or track speed.
Yeah, go ahead.
Might
as well. I'll just keep the nose a little bit low here. And this departure and arrival was basically intended to keep the noise well away from populated areas.
Yeah, it keeps you over the water. There's no doubt.
And can you imagine doing this in a Concorde?
Oh, jeez. I cannot, no.
All right, can you give me a climb?
You got it.
Climb power.
Climb power is coming up.
Okay, you might as well do IAS where we are.
Yeah, I beat you to it. Sorry.
Oh,
so IAS.
It's quite okay. Okay, so we're about to intercept Canarsie, and the needle's about to get unreliable in a second. Thankfully, we're turning away from the scenery. Yeah, I'm getting about 28, but it's lumpy.
I see the needle starting to move.
Yep. Okay, thank you for the heading there. And so you're giving me 176?
Yeah, would you like flight director on heading mode?
No, I'm gonna try to fly a decent intercept on this radial here. So what I'm doing here is I'm going a little too fast. What I'm doing is, because I'm a little out of trim, I'm putting the nose of the airplane on the tip of this CDI. I'm also anticipating a little bit because we're over the station now, so it's not going to be very reliable in a second. So now I'm turning towards our outbound heading, our outbound course. And with any luck... God, we're climbing slowly. Wow.
She's limping along. But your flaps up, gear up. So
Yeah.
get everything you can get.
Now, with any luck, when the station comes back, we're going to be almost on that outbound radial.
It's well flown, sir.
Well, at the speed we're going and the rate we're going, I had a lot of time to think. Now let's just see how well we did. We'll fly outbound for a few miles.
Sure, you good with me bugging you up to 190?
Yes, please. And in a second we'll be turning towards... Oh, look at this. I didn't do too badly. Look at that.
190 alt cell.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it was right on the money. The RMI is super helpful, though.
Oh, yeah.
Not to take anything away from your hard work there.
No, this is... I am addicted to HSIs.
Oh, it's so good. I only ever in the sim learned to fly with a GPS last year. That's not true. Whatever, like 14 months ago. So technically 2 years ago.
Okay, so you've checked in with departure, and departure has cleared us direct to Merit now.
Roger.
So I'm going to switch myself to pink needles.
Marshall flight flag heading 020 cleared direct Merit when able.
Okay, so we're going to turn to 020, and co-pilot Chris has thoughtfully bugged up for me.
You got it. So you're in heading select mode, IS 210, alt cell, flight level 190.
Okay, that's what I see. And we're climbing now at a reasonable rate. Just feels slow. It feels heavy.
Dash climbs really well, considering it is designed by what I can only assume is a 4-year-old.
Yep. You got it.
Yeah, if you said to a 4-year-old, like, you have 15 seconds to draw me an airplane, they would draw the Dash 8 almost to exact proportions.
Oh, no question. And so basically we're turning back almost over the airport. And again, here, let me just trim us for perfection here. I'm hands off right now.
That's impressive.
And I mean, the thing is, I think what people don't understand from flying sims is that even the most jittery airplane in the world is not as jittery as you think it is. I mean, you've flown small single engine airplanes, right?
They all trim out nicely.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't always have autopilots. And let's see, where are we visually here? Yeah, we're just, that's exactly the view you'd get flying this departure. I've sat on the left side of one of these flights, and this is basically what you see. You get a great view of New York and Kennedy as you leave. And the moon is out. Wow.
Well flown.
Oh, thanks. All right, I guess they gave us direct Merit, so let me just get us, throw me into nav there.
Yeah, mode's armed.
And the heading that they/you gave us was spot on. Yeah, I can tell you like doing ATC.
Just, I'm really intrigued by it. I don't think I would be very good at it, but I think it's really interesting.
Oh, I don't know. You know, I think you get the reflexes going, and I think you'd have a blast.
I keep joking around with the guys at Pilot Edge that one day I want to take over and just work like John Wayne ground on Pilot. It's me, the only position I work. Those guys work like 40 airports. I just want to work John Wayne.
Oh, well, you know.
Let me just give taxi clearances all day. I'd be real happy.
You get to be the one who tells Harrison Ford that you're not supposed to land on Taxiway Charlie.
Sir, that is my taxiway you were trying to land on. Yeah, I've yet to be to New York. You and I have spoken for years about this, but
Yeah. Oh, definitely. When this crap is over. And by the way, we're flying right towards White Plains here. Let's see if we can see it. Actually, White Plains is just, well, it's behind a bunch of crap, but it's right about at our 1 o'clock.
Yeah, I can't see it.
There should be.
Like I know where it should be.
Yeah, there's like a lake nearby.
Oh yeah, I know right where it is. Anyway.
Wow, I'm getting anywhere from 14 to 26 frames. This is really pathetic.
At 41, but JFK is struggling to draw in for me once again.
Well, you might have slightly less ambitious settings than me. I'm betting you do. I think it's this fancy sky crap that I've got. It is certainly giving us a leisurely tour of New York.
You still running the Brunner yoke?
I am. I love it.
Man, it seems very smooth.
It well, I'm barely touching it, so I guess that's a good sign.
Yeah.
In essence. All right, we are direct merit, and we are.
We're not yet direct merit, so merit should be at our 2 o'clock, 2:30 now, trending 3.
Oh yeah, I see.
So what you have right now, without doing a direct 2 in the FMS, is a
intercept is a join.
intercept. Yeah.
Interesting. Oh, as soon as we get out of New York, my frames are going to go up. They're already going up.
Yeah, I'm sure just pointing away from the city will help.
Yeah, and this new sky feature is just murder. It looks beautiful, but it's the thing is that there's really no reason to do it because it only reminds you of how crappy the ground is. Whereas at least in 2020, the sky is beautiful and the ground is beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll give you that.
Oh, we're looking pretty good, though. We're right over LaGuardia. My God. That is kind of sad. We're just loafing along. But this is the way they do it.
I think the regionals would be way more fun than flying Denver to Salt Lake City or LaGuardia to Las Vegas.
Well, yeah, I mean, in a way, the shorter legs are spicier.
Seems more pure, if you will.
Yeah, but, pilots pretty soon evolve into, a desire for, for comfort, for everyday sort of, like get me to the office on time, have a predictable...
You can imagine having a job would turn into having a job at some point.
Yeah. Although I don't think so. Almost every commercial pilot I know still just enjoys flying.
That's great.
So for our viewers, our speed is coming down a little bit because the air is getting thinner. The props have less to bite into, is essentially it. So our torque goes down a little bit. And our airspeed decays. Our airspeed's also decaying very slightly because we're turning from a slight headwind component to a tailwind. So, you want to go autopilot on, please?
Autopilot is coming on now.
I'll tell you what, it is fun to hand fly this airplane.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's no question about it. It's
You have the 125 hertz enabled, I would assume.
the way the Bruner works is it bypasses everything. So I think it goes as fast as it possibly can. It usually does about 60-ish.
I find this thing is a bit clunky out of the box, but with the new, like that 120.
Oh, it's wonderful.
It is phenomenal. It flies so well.
You can basically just think it in any direction you want it to go.
Good pressure rolls. It's beautiful.
Okay, and actually, if you look out, let's see if we can find Westchester. Westchester right now is behind a cloud. If I'm not mistaken, it's behind a cloud at about our 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. Assuming you have the same cloud as I do.
Looks like I do. I'm looking for the lake on the west side of it. I don't see it.
It's where my Uncle Ralph learned to fly.
It's cool that there's a nice little delta tucked in there.
Yeah. And they do some commercial flights out of there. JetBlue's got a flight. I think American and Delta have them too. There's a lot of population out there. It's just that the locals don't really want the airport to be that busy because they're rich.
How many people live in New York? Like the greater metropolitan area of New York City?
The metro area, I think it's about 25 million, and the city itself, the 5 boroughs, is about 8.7, 8.6.
All of Canada is 37 million, just shy.
Oh yeah, I mean, and
the entire country into a city plus.
And the corridor between New York and Philadelphia is, I believe, the most densely populated portion of North America.
I would believe it.
You know, if this were Flight Sim 2020, I'd be able to spot every single VFR landmark, but I can't. All right, we are limping up to 190, and we're already set to standard, so.
In true dash form, struggling to get there. We're still doing 1,300 feet per minute, though. That's great.
Yeah. It just feels heavy.
Especially down low, the dash performs really well, even heavy.
Oh yeah, it's massively overpowered. The ATR is an underpowered aircraft apparently, and the dash is unbelievably overpowered. Have you done any engine out stuff in the dash?
Oh yeah,
that's fun.
Yeah, I did a whole day probably. Like a random Monday off. There's nothing else to do. I jumped on Pilot Edge and just did nothing but abnormal procedures all day. I worked myself through the entire QRH.
That's great.
On the network, I was VFR for 99% of it. 1,000 to go.
Yep, checked.
Yeah, I flew out of maybe Jackson Hole, went west, picked up flight following, was VFR, and shut the engine down, got it restarted, shut the gens down. Good.
Does this aircraft respond to Pilot Edge failures?
No, only X-plane stuff does.
It's the only one that allows for mischief.
Yeah, and the days of mischief are over. I think those guys are too busy now to have too much fun with it.
Well, I'm glad they're doing well.
Oh, yeah. So good. So good. This is the first time I've ever flown since probably the last time you and I flew. This is the first time I've flown in a sim without ATC.
Well, I was going to say we could do VATSIM, but I'm not that much of a masochist.
No, neither am I. I tried to reactivate my VATSIM account when they redid their voice codec, and nobody ever got back to me, so I just never bothered.
Well, apparently it's not too bad in the big cities. Okay, altitude star.
You just have to know, because they'll go, "Hey, we're gonna open Boston tonight,"
Yeah,
and everybody and their mom flies into Boston that night, and it just turns into a giant conga line of teenagers with flight sim mods.
that's true.
Not
I
really.
hear Chicago and the Twin Cities is good ATC. Can you give me max cruise, please?
Got it. Max Cruise coming up.
All right.
Should we do all the checklists we forgot to do, or I forgot to do?
Yeah, why the hell not? So what is it?
Takeoff, gears up, flaps up, bleeds are on, climb power is set. All that is correct. Climb altimeters are set, ice protections as required. Checklist complete.
Sounds good. And maybe you can clear up the difference between TAT and SAT.
I cannot. I asked that question the other day. I have no idea.
Well, all the more reason to get in touch with Pilot Emily, your fellow Canadian.
For my phone call.
Don't self-deprecate all over yourself. That's undignified.
Well, I was in Africa a couple of years ago doing work stuff, and man, so there's an airline called SAS, Sahel Air Services, that operated exclusively with pilots licensed in South Africa.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a strong HR policy with a bias towards Pilot Emily's demographic,
Mm-hmm.
shall we say. And let me tell you, I would sign up for that job tomorrow. Flying Beech 1900s and King Air 350s, what was arguably IFR, but was realistically VFR, 200-mile legs at a time.
Oh, that's great.
Living on the economy, but all expenses paid, house is paid for, you get a company car, all that good stuff. And all you had to do was fly some questionably maintained King Air's VFR in the desert. And man, every single one of them that I talked to was there for 6 months or less. They're there just to build time, and they had a great time doing it.
What were you in Mali?
I was in Mali, Burkina Faso, Senegal. Yeah, those 3 countries.
I hear Senegal is lovely.
Mm.
And, I mean, it really is. I mean, ATC is a little iffy, and airport maintenance is a little iffy, but it's sort of, get the pioneer spirit.
Oh, there's very much the pioneer spirit. Well and alive there, yeah.
All right, let's.
It is much like the Canadian Arctic. You'll see airplanes in the Arctic that you would never see being operated, certainly in the continental United States. And the same in Africa, all sorts of weird stuff. It was neat.
All right, let's see. We are inbound Merritt.
Started the arrival.
Yeah, I'll tell you. Ending our departure, starting the arrival. Okay,
Right,
we've got a Roebuck sandwich that we leave alone. I will never understand this.
And it very specifically cautions you not to mess with that.
All right, and then we've got vectors onto the ILS at Adams. I've never flown in this particular approach in life or on the sim at all. Most of my approaches have been onto 4 right or onto 3 left. When I was a kid, I had a wonderful time from Pittsburgh to Boston. TWA flew with an old 707. And I mean, I always wanted to fly on 707s because I'd read a little young adult book on a TWA flight from New York to Rome, and it was a TWA 707, and I'd read that book forwards and backwards,
Right.
and always wanted to get on a 707, certainly a TWA 707, and I didn't think I ever could, because the only 707s that used to fly out of Pittsburgh were the rare London, Paris, or Frankfurt flights, which ran a few times a week, and usually went through New York or Philadelphia, but the flight originated in Pittsburgh. And they must have been getting rid of all their 707s on the overseas routes, And I guess they wanted to get the last few miles out of them, so they started flying sort of semi cross country routes, you know, because the transcons were wide bodies then, like real wide bodies, not sort of fake.
Yeah, you can't take a 319 like you do now.
No, the smallest you would fly from New York to Los Angeles or San Francisco was an L-1011.
Right.
And ideally, it was a 747.
Crazy to remember the days when those things were used. Like, you never now fly a 747 from anywhere without crossing an ocean.
No,
I'm not even anymore.
No, you can't anymore. They're all being retired. But, I mean, back in the day, LaGuardia, little LaGuardia with its 7,000-foot runways, if you were flying to Florida on Delta or United or Eastern, you would not, or National even, you would not fly any stinking 727. You would fly on Eastern, you'd fly a TriStar, and on National, you'd fly a DC-10, and there were a lot of tri-jets flying out of LaGuardia.
Wow.
And I used to love that as a kid. So we get on this 707, we fly up to Boston, and we start an approach, and it was an approach to, I want to say it was an approach to 15 right, and then they turned the airport around.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've always wondered, like at LAX, on the rare occasions when they turn the airport around, I've always been on the ground, and we've always had to go and taxi down to the other end and get in line again.
Yeah.
But I've never had that happen in the air while you're set up for another approach. And so we're set up for 15 right, wind shifted, turn the airport around. They're now landing on 33 left, same runway other end. And we did a circling approach.
Oh, wow.
It would have to have been hand flown. And it was a beautiful approach. They broke off down towards the, not the harbor, towards the outer harbor, and back around that chain of islands and onto 33 left on a 707 at about 1,500 feet.
Oh, wow.
And it was just nice.
Of course it would be.
And the pilot warned us. He said, we're going to take a little longer. We've been assigned a different runway. And just so you know, we're going to be doing a little maneuvering here. And that's the words he used. He says, we're going to be doing a little maneuvering here, like, he enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
So, we certainly enjoyed it. What a stately airplane.
That's a great word for it.
It really just felt that way. It felt like every move that it made was very well considered. All right, so let me futz around here with my VNav here. So
You get Jaina at 11. Looks like the next hard constraint.
yeah, I've got let's see, all in at 17 or above, and yeah, and I've got Roebuck. I've got a Roebuck at 12.
Roebuck should be between 19 and 12.
Oh, that's interesting. The box has it in as a hard 12.
Yeah, so it's 19 to 12 at Roebuck. First hard constraint is Jaina, 11,250 knots.
Now this is going to shock you, but I don't have Jaina. Oh, I do have Jaina. Okay, all right, yeah, let's do it to there. That makes sense. Okay, so let's see, VNav to Jaina. This is such a weird thing. At 10, enter, and since we're heavy, we'll give ourselves 2 miles to slow down. And that's an appropriate descent. Hit enter, and it should do a little calculating for us. There we go. Yeah, it's about a 3-degree down. Top of descent, 74 miles. Bada bing, bada boom.
Perfect. I am cross-filling and cross-filled.
And I see it work. Miracle of miracles. This thing actually works.
Oh, it's so good. And we're on 2 different versions of Prepared.
Yeah, I'm far from unhappy.
That's a great way to put it.
That's
I'll once again step away from the flight deck here for a moment. And,
okay. Do what you do best.
Well, yeah, you get another beer from the fridge.
You're damn right.
All right. I checked on the passengers. Everyone's doing okay. Despite my hand flying on the first leg.
That is good. I hope you encourage the onboard purchase of cigarettes. We still offer them here.
That's right. And our airline credit card as well, obviously.
God, you have not experienced that unless you've flown through Atlanta, the old Delta Amex.
No.
I got one of those for free because of where I work. So,
and there you go.
So I'm again not unhappy. Giving me
when I flew out of Senegal. So in Canada, it's pretty frustrating because you have to listen to the passenger safety announcements and all of the subsequent announcements in English and in French. I speak English and French. My French isn't super strong, but it's fine for most sort of scripted activities.
Yep.
So I listen to the passenger safety brief in English. I listen to it in French. I understand them in both languages. And so it gets a bit annoying, especially when you travel a fair bit and you have connections and you've listened to 4 passenger safety briefs in the course of a day, and they've all actually been in 2 languages. So you've had 8 passenger safety briefs. When you go to Senegal, I flew on a 787 out of, what is it, Blaise International in Senegal. In Dakar, into Mali, into whatever the capital Mali is, Bamako. And they do their announcements in 3 languages. So it's English, French, and whatever the local language is, I can't remember what it is, so you have to forgive me. And then so it was English, French, local language, safety brief. As soon as the wheels get up in the well, English, French, local language, whatever it is, post-departure brief. Second you hit top of climb, English, French, local language. Would you like to buy our MasterCard?
Oh yeah.
To top of descent, which is 7 miles later, 40 seconds. They got English, French. Anyway, you can imagine it goes the whole way through. So the entire flight, I was trying to watch one 22-minute long episode of something on the TV. I never got through it. So in an hour-long flight, it was 40 minutes of safety briefs and whatever else.
An hour-long flight on a 787, though?
Yeah.
Wow. That's got to be fun.
It was really cool. We were supposed to fly back on a different flight, and then everything, as it happens in Africa, things break and whatever. Let me look at the distance here. So Bamako, 548 miles. So yeah, it would have been about an hour and 10 minutes.
For a really short period of time in the mid 70s, it's interesting. My cockpit goes to black every once in a while and just refreshes itself that way. So far, no harm done. So, but
I have the same issue where my cockpit flickers
yeah, that
a minute. It doesn't do it as much in the dash, but in the 320, it happens almost the entire flight.
Oh, well, it's the wages of sin. Or something like that, this being Sunday. But can you imagine flying from Pittsburgh to Chicago, which is an hour-long flight, on a United Airlines 747?
In an hour. It would take 20 minutes just to start on the engines.
They did that. The flight went on from Chicago to Honolulu, so I guess it wasn't crazy.
Yeah.
But when the thing first came into service, they took it to Pittsburgh, a couple days early, and they just let people inside it, if you can imagine that.
That would be great.
Oh, yeah, I missed it, but we used to live on the Arrival route, and there was a golf course not far from our house up on top of a hill, and in Pittsburgh, there are many hills, and this was a pretty high one, and so you could see the planes come over the hill just as they started to get initially configured, and so you'd look up in the sky and you would see a United Airlines 747 in old friendship colors, the old 1960s, 70s United one, the sort of turquoise color.
Mm-hmm.
Really, really beautiful. And it would just float like a Zeppelin, like the Hindenburg, It was so big, it would seem like it's floating. All right, it looks like we're going over the Connecticut River here. So off to our left, if you go far enough up, is Massachusetts, then Vermont. And we should be, actually, we're probably not far from Bradley right now.
Oh.
Windsor Locks.
That was the first and only time you and I have ever had a chance to briefly hang out.
That is true.
To get to, once again, briefly meet Les.
Yeah, he ended up writing a column about flight simulation at some point.
So
I'm bugging him to
really a hot topic with the long-term, lifelong aviation people.
Well, it's turning out to be less than it you might have thought it would be, because so many pilots now, a bunch of them got their start simming.
Mm-hmm.
At
least have done initial type ratings on the sim.
Yeah, and airline to sim, and the guy from Lufthansa, from IXEG, and a bunch of them, they make no bones about the fact that when they were doing their initial flight training, they were also on Flight Simulator. So I think it's becoming less and less, especially as flight simulators get really, really good. I mean, Les used to mock me about certain things like this, and then one day he started sending me different articles from flying magazines and things like that on different flight simulators, comparing one to the other.
Right.
And, so he still will not. I sent him a computer, to fly.
I remember. Yeah.
And it's still sitting in his goddamn garage.
Of course it is.
Because he may be a friend and he may be a pilot, but he's also an old man. And old people don't jump onto computers.
No, that's true.
So, So the only way he's going to do it is if I get him set up on it. And then I can imagine that he will do it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I got them set up on my old 8700
It's still a great machine.
with a 2080 Ti. So, I mean, you know, you can't really go wrong with that. It's either that or give it to my brother, and my brother's insufferable. And besides, he runs a whole computer department at his company. So, at the company where he works. So, I mean, he can steal whatever he wants.
Right. That's how that works.
It doesn't need me. I don't know. I mean, look at Ty. He started out as a simmer. Now, I wouldn't be shocked if he
pilot instrument rating who's working in an aviation company.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if maybe if the market, you know, gets a little healthier, if he doesn't end up at an airline.
Yeah.
All right, so we are cooking down the beginning of the Merit 3 here. I mean the Roebuck 3. And there is our top of descent, which is, let's see, how far away is it? It is 35 miles away. Very nice.
And which approach would you like today, kind sir?
Well, the ILS 15 right. The only problem is I've got set in the box Adams as the transition. I couldn't find the other one on the map, but it looks like if we do
on the west, the Gardner VOR, but that's 36 miles west of Adams.
Okay, is that the better transition?
If you want to leave Adams in there, I will virtual vector us. I'll be the virtual air traffic controller and get us a vector on a final. If you want to do vectors final ILS 15 right?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
It's one of my Chris Stewart sim-isms is when people are playing single pilot offline and they go, hey, I'm going to vector myself onto the ILS 15 right? Like, no, you're not. You're just going to turn. Just say turn. You're not going to vector yourself.
Or worse, if they say I'm going to self vector.
Yeah, I can't fire myself from this job. You can't fire yourself from a job. You just quit. You can't vector yourself onto an ILS. You just turn.
Well,
turn.
In the Department of Beefs,
the court is in session.
Yeah, well, you know, I just want to declare for all of our viewers, if you like this video, you don't have to smash anything. You don't have to smash it or crush it or pummel it. You just click on it. That's all you need to do. Click on that button.
Click on that like button.
Yeah.
Caress it.
Whatever you want, but no smashing. This is not a smashing flight. We do not smash.
Respect it deserves.
Exactly. Treat the like as you would like to be treated.
That's right. We always say that here at our airline.
Yeah. Yes. You know, in that tone of voice, I keep thinking about what's his name? The sportscaster, the short guy for NBC, the one who just retired, Bob Costas. He's a big baseball guy, and there's a baseball team in Japan called the Nippon Ham Fighters.
Okay.
The team is called the Fighters. They are sponsored by Nippon Ham, and everybody says the Nippon Ham Fighters. And finally, he went on this rant,
Ham fighters.
and he said, they are not ham. They are not made of ham. They are not opposed to ham. They do not fight ham.
They're just the fighters.
This is my Nippon Ham Fighters rant. So let's see. What was our start? Let's see. Our starting altitude was 11, right?
Janie is at 11 yet. Or Jan, sorry. Jan 11.
Okay. And, you know, I wonder if we said 11, I'm guessing that the VNAV is going to respect the other restrictions.
I believe so. So we could roll in theory down to 6 for a Tickman.
Okay. And you in a frame of mind to brief the approach?
Ready when you are.
Okay, so you are going to vector us to what? To Swig or to Adams?
We'll probably intercept somewhere between Swig and Adams.
Okay, sounds good. Inbound course 149. Localizer frequency 110.7.
I'll set it up on my side.
Okay, decision altitude 267. I'll set that up on my side. Or I will try. These little fiddly switches are a little fiddly. Okay, 267, so we'll make that 270 set. Missed approach is fly straight ahead and don't stop until you get to Nantucket. Now, let's see. Missed approach is...
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah, straight ahead to
Oh,
Celts. Yeah, it's basically straight ahead for 12 miles. And missed approach altitude is what, 3,000? Yep. Oh, this is interesting. It says the PAPIs and the glide path are not coincident.
You see a lot of that nowadays.
Yep, and touchdown zone elevation is 17 feet. So
All right.
we've traveled about an hour to go up 4 feet. That is progress, my friend.
That's my takeaway. Man, I can't wait for the world to open up again so I can get in the car and come down here.
Yeah, do some fucking thing.
Yeah, I love Boston.
Ah, me too. And you know, we should go down and bug Ty.
Yeah. Get a hotel room and just go do a couple of nights on the town.
Oh, definitely. And it's been so long since I've been to Boston. I have to get to know it again. I used to go up back in the day, as they say, just for a long weekend, like at least several times a year. Just get on the train and just go up because it's so easy.
Oh, yeah. How long would it take you on the train from New York?
It's about 3 hours 45, I think, give or take.
It's like 2 beers and a sandwich.
Yeah, and even the flights at the time weren't that expensive. So if you wanted to instead have a 38-minute flight or something,
Right, yeah.
you know, you could do it for like 175 each way, and the Amtrak isn't that much cheaper.
Right. I had a friend, still do have a friend, I guess, who lives in Reading, Massachusetts, which is a suburb of Boston. Great little spot. Anyway, I used to go down every Labor Day, and we would have a joint Canadian-American Labor Day. I would go down for the full, like take an extra day on either side of the weekend, and it would just this bacchanalian revelry the entire time, just out of control.
That's not so bad.
My 40-year-old buddy from the suburbs of Boston, and we had this great cookout on Labor Day proper, and just hanging out with the family, a bunch of beers in the backyard, and yeah, like I had a great time. And we would go into town for a day. Yeah, nothing good things to say.
That sounds wonderful. Now, are you planning to take us from Boxers around on onto a right downwind to Adams, or are we going to fly across the approach path and back around the way it's got us set up, I think?
Well, let me take a extra look at the chart here. I think for all intents and purposes,
Well, that's another gripe.
and purposes. Out of Tickman, it's basically a 330 heading out of Tickman. So for whatever reason, I have screwed something up when we hit Tickman. Just keep going on the 330.
Okay, sounds good. So essentially, I guess we're gonna fly into a left downwind.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good.
With 2 G's.
All intents and purposes. That gets on my nerves, and people who don't know how to say people who.
So to correct myself, it looks like Swig puts us on a right downwind to get to Adams.
Right.
And then, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So think of Swig as, which is the end of the Arrival, as the start of your right base.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, coming up on the old TOD.
I see it. So what are you going to put in the altitude window, like 6,000?
Yep. I get my old scroll wheel to cooperate.
Yeah, it's so good flying with you again, buddy.
Oh, it's my pleasure. You kidding?
No stress.
This
You
is
just get caught up.
this is just a comedy show with some flying involved.
Yeah. It's just good to catch up.
Oh yeah, definitely.
We chat pretty regularly, but
Yeah, but yeah, this is different. This involves some pretense at some sort of educational and productive endeavor. Instead of, just pure bullshit. Anyway, VNav is armed. 6,000 set, and I shouldn't outsell it, or should I?
yeah, I would alt sell it. I don't think there's ever a scenario where you don't alt sell. I can't think of one anyway.
Only if you do the philosophy of setting the starting altitude on your VNav instead of the lowest.
Right. Yeah, it's true.
All right, so as we get ready to capture the path, I'm going to slow us a little bit because we're already going nice and quick. So we anticipate passengers sort of being slammed forward into their seatbelts.
You know, if you haven't floated a few flight attendants,
Well,
it's not a routine in the office.
Our airline's motto, in case you didn't know, is the only thing negative about us is our G's.
It's true. We always say that at our airline.
Yeah. Light in the seat cannot be beat. Now, you would know more about military aircraft and fighter tactics than I do, but I've always noticed that fighter pilots in dogfights prefer pulling to pushing, and I'd imagine it's because you can carry more energy, and the airplane is built for more G's in the positive direction than the negative.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah, and I'm not sure. I couldn't answer that question very well, I don't think. Other than I know the airplane performs really well under G.
Yeah. Also, human beings flying in negative G's. If you've ever experienced even negative G's in a roller coaster, it's not comfortable. It feels like your eyeballs are bugging out.
Yeah, those guys will pull in the Hornet 7.5 G's. G suit activates. Those guys barely even notice it, from my understanding. But if you and I were to pull 4G, you go, "Oh my goodness, that's a lot."
Yeah,
But
if
minus 1G is awful. Everybody thinks it's awful. Fighter pilots think it's awful.
Yeah, I was up in a glider, and we did some sort of mild aerobatics, and just I think to scare the crap out of his passenger, my friend who was flying me sort of like pushed us over the top on a climb, and it was only about negative, a G and a quarter, G and a half, something like that, and it just felt awful.
Yeah. And you feel bad for a little bit afterwards. So positive G, I'm okay with. You go, "Oh, that was a lot. Okay, I'm good."
Yeah, well, what happens is it's like your stomach contents rises.
Yeah, negative G happens, and you spend the next 5 minutes going, "Why are my hands sweating? Why do I feel so uncomfortable?"
Well, I think it's because the vagus nerve, the nerve that sort of runs up your chest there, which I think is involved in vomiting and other things. When you get stuff rising up out of your stomach, it tickles that nerve, and it makes you feel very much out of sorts.
Yeah, except our passengers love it.
Yes. Well, that's because that's our in-flight entertainment.
in spite of all the things we said, passengers here. If you, that's right.
Let's see. What is our...
You're not standing up to celebrate our prices. We'll make you.
Exactly. Okay, so let's see. Localizer frequency is 110.7.
Okay, set on the right.
Okay. On the right, I see...
It's I have 111.7 set. I'm gonna fix that. $110.7 set, right?
Okay. And 110.7 set left.
And for course, I have set 149 on the right.
Yep, stand by. Oh, wait, I have to do that trick where you hold down the format key.
That's the one.
Or you just hold it down. Let's see.
Yeah, it's a good 2 or 3 seconds.
I got it. Okay. I'll tell you, the little dash tricks do come back.
Doesn't take long.
Yeah, well, what takes a little while is when you reach for the course thing and you spin up the altitude selector instead. So let's see. What was it? 149. God, this thing is like arcane. It is just weird. All right, course is set. Hold down the format button again. Oh, that's beautiful. Okay, we want to be at 11 at Jaina.
See it?
And I think we're going to get there. And you know what? We are... Well, I better start slowing down or we'll never be able to slow down. Do you have the add-on sound pack for this thing?
I do not. No. Is it worth getting?
It's definitely worth getting because when you back off the throttles too much, this is what you hear. Instead of that, instead of that awful whistling sound.
Where did you pick that up? Was that on the Orbic store?
No, I think it was on Sim Market or something. But if you search for, Majestic Q400 sound pack or something.
Immersive audio.
There you go.
$13. $13 well spent, I have no doubt.
It also does that rattling sound.
Right.
So.
Authentic engine sounds. New N1 sound with correct pitch. New switches, levers, GPWS callouts, TCAS, warning sounds, ground roll noise. Yep, sign me up for all that. We'll scoop that up.
Yeah, for $13, why not?
Let me tell you, if $13 is going to change it moved the needle at all on the amount of money I've spent on flight sim stuff over a career.
No, and given home buying and all the rest of that, it all of a sudden it puts everything into perspective.
Pretty sure Max tried to turn me on to this a couple of years ago too, and I had forgotten all about it until you mentioned it.
Now, did he also get into real flying from flight simulation, or was it?
I'm not sure if that's a correlation or causation thing. I think he was destined for a career in aviation regardless, but I think the simming really set him up for the speed at which he went through PPL, CPL, IR, multi-engine.
Well, that son of a bitch went and studied for his CPL in Vietnam on the beach. So,
yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
So, as far as I'm concerned, that's just, you've just won right there.
Yeah, he was able to get in and jump between airplanes, between the Cirrus and the DA-40. He flew quite a bit of in the Cirrus jet, the 2 citations or 3 citations he's flown. You can't tell me that Simon didn't influence how fast he was able to switch between those. I wouldn't believe you.
Oh yeah. Well, he seems to have the sort of mind for it, mentality for it. You can tell he's just enthusiastic the minute he steps into anything like that.
He's such a young feller too. I mean that with a great deal of respect, but he's real young, so I don't think that hurts him at all either.
No, and adds to the growing but easily overlooked pantheon of Jewish pilots.
That's true. Jello, Max.
That's same with Les. I mean, how many Jewish airline pilots do you know?
I don't know. I don't keep track of these things, Marshall.
You know. I mean,
That sounds really, you have to get that.
I mean, I'm lucky that I came from a very, very non-religiously dogmatic family, to say the least. Otherwise, I would have been expected to go into the medical profession.
Well, I don't think it might be a national thing where Canadians, by and large, same with their political beliefs. Nobody talks about what religion they are, if they are at all religious, and in the same way that nobody talks about what political views they might have necessarily outside like an immediate friends group.
Yeah, very, very few other countries in the world, especially big countries, are as religious or as overtly religious as the United States.
It's fair, yeah.
And we have that tradition. I mean, let's face it, the people who came here were religious dissidents. So,
yeah.
So you can imagine how that's a thing. Oh, look at us. 250 knots on the bean as we come up on 10K. Look at that.
Yeah, amongst some idle chit-chat.
Yeah.
We're not trying to be excellent here. It just happens.
Well, it's just that what it is, it's the plane likes to be liked, and it demands attention. It does.
It does.
It's a friendly plane. It just says fly me, We're actually going pretty close to Fort Devens, where I spent some of my time growing up.
Really?
Just northwest of the city. It was the original home of the Army, the ASA, the Army something or other agency. It was the precursor to the to the NSA.
Oh, wow.
The Army Security Agency. They did three things. They did signal intelligence, linguistics for the signal intercept stuff, and they were also the internal affairs counterintelligence of the Army. So one of the veterans of the ASA, and in Fort Devens there were all of these telegraphers there, and they were called ditty boppers because of the dits and the dashes.
Yeah, I guess.
And so there were three components of the ASA. There were the language people who were at Monterey Institute out in California, and a lot of them were gay, because that was a place where skill above everything was all you needed, and it was hard to find good, linguistic people, period, in the United States, because we don't learn languages. And the internal affairs people, and somebody who was in the ASA wrote memoirs of it later, and the title of his book was Ditty Boppers, Buddy Fuckers, and Monterey Marys.
That's hilarious. And
I remember because good friend of the family's is, I suppose still, a psychiatrist, and he would treat the ditty boppers because they'd be stuck in a closed room for hour after hour doing nothing but listening to dots and dashes.
Wow. And
they would go crazy. They would develop a case of what was called the ditties. And no, it's legit. I mean, it's an experience that's bound to make you a little nuts. And what's funny is that years ago, we went into a restaurant right down the street from me now, down Columbus Avenue here, and the guy who ran it was a former ditty bopper, and he was still a little crazy.
Oh, no kidding.
I forget his name, but he was this Italian guy, and he looked like some guy out of The Sopranos, and he managed the restaurant. And my dad struck up a conversation with him. He said, "Oh, you're probably at Devens when I was there." He says, "Yeah," and they swapped some stories. And he says, "Well, how you doing?" And he says, "What can I tell you? I used to be a radio." Pauses a beat, and he says, "Now I'm a restaurant."
That's awesome.
All right, well, there is Boston.
All right. Well, I'm going to keep us out of flight sim jail and turn some lights on for us.
All right. Well, I haven't even peeked, so.
Put the seatbelt lights are on.
we're gonna send the cabin crew on their last credit card run.
That's right. Go pick up all the Marshall and Chris credit cards that you sold.
I'll tell you what, I'll be happy for the skim. All right, we're coming over what used to be 195, but it's now called 495. And you can barely tell because this is not Flight Sim 2020. I can't wait for this plane to get into Flight Sim 2020.
I wish they would just put a Kickstarter up and say, hey, we'll be done in a year. Everyone just needs to throw in an extra $30. Like, here you go.
You know, I would gladly do it. I really would.
No, absolutely. Yeah. So that time you and I were in Connecticut for Flight Sim Expo or whatever it was called at the time. Buddy from Majestic was there.
Oh, really?
Crosswind. I can't remember his first name, but
oh yeah.
Like a brief 2 or 3 minutes to just sort of shake his hand and say thank you for building such a great airplane, and then
that's really nice. And
yeah, it was great.
And you know, a sim is the opportunity to fly some genuinely interesting airplanes. I mean, this is, like it or not, it's an interesting airplane. It doesn't do things the way any other plane does. And
right.
and it lets you fly legs that are just, you know, I mean, do you really want to fly a transatlantic flight on VATSIM?
I really don't.
I'd rather be probed by aliens, to tell you the truth.
I'm enthusiastic to not do that.
Yeah, and you know, you can tell people like Flight Deck to Sim, every once in a while they'll do it under great pressure, mainly because they know that they get the viewers, but otherwise, you know, they wouldn't care less. Let me get the weather here in Boston.
Sounds good. I got it here if you want it.
Okay, yeah, why not?
It's wind 300 at 18, gust 23, visibility 10 miles, few clouds, flight level 250.
Do you want to switch to the visual for 3-3? Yeah, let's do 3-3 left. We're almost lined up for the base leg on it right now.
Sounds good.
So what we're going to do is we're going to fly out to that gap between islands there.
You see it?
And we're going to hook a left. And bada bing, bada boom.
Save our passengers some time.
And give them a good view of Boston. So that's Nantasket Beach here, right over there at about our 2 o'clock. And if you look down at our 3 o'clock, that is Provincetown. That's the tip of Cape Cod off there. And that is an unsuitable airport for the Mighty Dash, but I flew a DC-3 out of there.
Mm.
All right, let's see. We got to get down here. So let's get down to about 2,000 feet. So, mind if I just take it?
By all means.
Now, this may be a little optimistic here. Maybe even a lot optimistic.
I believe. It's a turboprop.
We can generate sync rate. Got it right down at rock bottom.
I'm going to give you a 3-3 left ILS in case you need it.
Okay, great. Yeah, that'd be wonderful. Oh, I did figure out how to do the extended centerline trick, but you have to go into nav maneuver. Okay, we'll set us up for 2,500 feet. I'm just going to widen us out a little bit. I don't want to go totally flight sim. Oh, this is fun.
Right. Well, you're set up for the ILS 3-3 left.
Okay, I see it. Am I set up on my side with my CDI?
I can if you like. You're still in FMS mode, but if you want blue
Yeah,
needles,
I'm just gonna go blue needles right now. Yeah, if you could set me up, that'd be great.
you are all set, sir.
Let's get a little more drag out. Can you give me? No, you know what? No, we're fine. Oh God, we're fine. This is nice.
Yeah, if you want props full, let me know.
No, I don't think I'll even need it. But let's set up for reduced noise.
Wilco. You are set up for reduced noise landing.
And we're not even going down unbelievably fast. We're going down 2,000 feet per minute.
Yeah, super comfortable.
And that we're just passing over 93, which goes into Boston. Goes past the Kennedy Library. There's our runway threshold. Let's see, what is it? 329?
Yeah, 330 is the course.
330. Okay. I'm just going to let the speed come off a little bit. Yeah, we'll see how good I am at eyeballing things.
That's the best way to do it. Can you imagine if you're flying in here and they said, "Hey, we're just gonna plunk you in on the 3-3 left. How do you feel about that?" You go, "Oh, thank God."
Well, I mean, with these days with nobody flying, it's probably not the rarest thing in the world. I'm a little bit high. What do you think?
Yep.
Let's do flaps 5.
Flaps 5 coming up. Speed checks.
Worst comes to worst, I'll overshoot a little bit. Give me gear, please.
Your speed checks. Gears down.
Or I'll just extend and come in on the short runway 33 right, which is 2,500 feet. That'd be fun. Let's see. We can do flaps 10 at 178.
That's correct.
Okay, let me just slow us down a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, give me flaps 10 now, and I guess bleeds min.
Flaps 10, and I'll start the before landing checklist.
Okay. Yeah, we're way above the glide slope, but that's okay.
But I can give you props full too if they think it'll help.
No, you know what'll help is we'll do 2.7.
Okay. I think this looks great.
Oh, it's beautiful. I'm looking out my left-hand window, basically. Let's make sure my speed is good. You know what? In a second, I'm just going to pitch up very slightly. In a second, give me flaps 15.
Okay, look for the speed.
As soon as we hit 160, it should be good.
Speed checks. Flaps 15.
Okay, now we're getting somewhere. As my grandpa Sidney would say, he was a real New Yorker. He didn't say anywhere, somewhere. It was somewheres. It's funny. I heard that again with a very famous physicist who will win the Nobel Prize before he's gone, guy named Lenny Suskind, and he grew up in the Bronx, and he was talking about Heisenberg uncertainty principle, and he said, about how it establishes limits, and at a certain limit, you can't tell for certain that the electron is anywheres. And I thought, that's my boy.
That's amazing. I think you would have made 3-3.
Yeah, maybe. Shorter runways are fun.
I do. I feel like every flight sim approach I make starts too high, but
Well, it's also because, both of us are probably more comfortable in real world and in Flight Simulator flying GA, and it's always better to be a little high.
that's true. Yeah.
When I flew with Les into Bradley, we were 4 whites until short final, and he tries to do every landing just for practice as a power off landing.
Okay.
So let's see now.
Well, someday if I ever find myself in Florida, I will ask for an unsolicited visit to last
Oh, you should.
16 beers with him.
Well, and he is a beer snob.
Be all set. You teach me.
1,000.
Checked. And we're even stable.
And your before landing checklist is complete.
Good. Now I'm just going to pull up a little bit and bleed off some speed here. We're still a little high, but we won't be for long.
Oh.
Oh, this is a fun approach.
Right on the money, Marshall.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
We'll see what we do with it, though. I'm still a little high.
Yeah, it feels good though.
Plus 100.
There we go.
Sync rate.
We'll just arrest that. Rolling a little. Oh, there we go. Rolling a little power.
Sync rate.
Yeah, even just a tiny bit less. Just let that airspeed come back.
Yep.
Sync
Looking for like 135 if you can.
Yep.
Sync rate. Sync rate. Ten.
Oh,
I didn't even feel that. Oh, buttery goodness. Okay. Now, let's see how we taxi here. There's a land and hold short ahead of us, so we're going to make this turn here. Maybe. Maybe not. And we're going to cross the fours. Wow, look at that. I don't know if you're seeing snow blowing across the runway.
yeah, it looks great.
That's not a bad look at Boston.
Yeah, right turn kilo.
Oh, you know why? Hang on, my tiller has to go on. Oh, it's on. There we go. Oh, that was sweet. That was a fun landing.
That was great.
You see, the airplane rewards, this airplane rewards you, and it just encourages you to have fun.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know if that would be true with revenue passengers, but
Sure, there's nothing better though than just flying it like an airplane,
yeah.
for lack of a better term. Don't mind the warnings. It's me doing things.
Yeah, I could have been a little slower. We didn't float too far. I guess
No,
we
not at all.
went about 1,500 feet in.
Yeah, I mean, no, like God forbid, pardon the term, but like that you just fly it like an airplane. Don't fly it like an airliner.
No, but what's awfully nice is that you've noticed this. You can do the same thing in the Airbus.
Oh, of course, yeah. It's funny, the rare times I do stream nowadays, the number of people who would be somewhat offset, not upset, but offset by the fact that I'm doing a 17,500 VFR leg in a A320.
No, and the thing is,
Brains explode a little bit.
well, the thing is, it's not like you're flying it like a game. That's
Yeah.
different. You know, that's just hooning around and being a jagoff.
If I'm only going 160 miles and it's day VFR everywhere, I'm not going 9 miles in the wrong direction to turn around to fly the departure procedure.
Oh, totally.
I'll just go VFR.
All right, go into ye old Bravo 22. That's a good-looking airport. This, I guess it's what, Fly Tampa?
It's nice. Yeah.
Hot damn, that was fun.
Well flown.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, it's easy when you can see where you're going,
I suppose, right?
you know.
It was nice though. We'd set up for the 1.5s, like rebrief the 3.3, set up for the 3.3.
Yeah, no,
We
you
decided 2.7 was still 7,000 feet. You could land this thing twice there if you wanted to.
well, also you did some nice fancy dancing, you know, giving me a giving me an ILS and giving me a glide slope to look at. You know, I saw how deflected we were, and it's a good check on the eyeballs.
It's great.
Oh, look at that shutdown. Look at that. And nice looking light. Nice winter light. You know, Lockheed Martin and X-Plane, they just need to do the VFR scenery bit.
Right. I'll give you that. No questions asked.
But I think a year from now, we're going to be having a different discussion, and that's going to be, you know, which one of the many aircraft in Flight Sim 2020 do you want? Because I think it's kind of captured the imagination. So
Can't wait.
that is cool. All right, I'm going to order some Chinese food because that's about all I can do at this hour on a Sunday night in New York. And this was an absolute pleasure, and let's actually do it again sooner than 5 years. That would be good.
We can break the record.
All right, that sounds awesome. And just remember, everybody, he is Helipilot7, and he's on Twitch all the time.
So several times a year.